to take on their in-state rival in the Tennessee State Tigers. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Gould. Alongside me is Derek Fleming. This is Game 5 of 7 in the OVC football slate. Listen, Derek, the time to go is now if you want an FCS playoff spot.
Yes, you got to win them all. You got to start in here and win this game and continue to win if you want to be in the playoffs.
We're going to take a look at the conference standings. Here they are. Murray State, Jacksonville State, they're both 4-0. Everyone else has 2 losses. Of course, Tennessee State, they're coming off that loss last week to Murray State, 35-13. UT Martin had a thrilling win.
Yeah, that was a big one. First win down in Clarksville in about 5 or 6 years, and they won it at last seconds with their great kicker, Larko. That puts them in the spot to try to continue to – oh, I screwed it. Sorry.
Today you are watching Ohio Valley Conference football on ESPN+. It's a windy day here in Nashville as the UT Martin Skyhawks travel 150 miles east to take on their in-state rival in the Tennessee State Tigers. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Gould. Alongside me is Derek Fleming. This is Game 5 of 7. We are over 50% of the way through the OVC football season. Derek, if you want an FCS playoff spot, the time to go is now.
Yeah, in a short season, every game now is playoff time. You got to win the rest of the way.
All right, we'll take a look at the conference standings. Murray State and Jacksonville State, they're both 4-0. Everyone else has 2 losses. And, of course, speaking of losses, Tennessee State, they lost 35-13 against Murray State last week. They're 1-3 on the year. UT Martin improved to 2-2, a thrilling victory against Austin Peay.
Yeah, big win for Coach Simpson and the Skyhawks. They won it last second, which are bringing momentum to Nashville, where they've struggled, and they're trying to continue to win.
Those OVC football conference standings are presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Designate before you celebrate because fans don't let fans drive drunk. Series history, 30th meeting between these two schools.
Yeah, this has been a big-time rivalry in the OVC. These schools are only 2 hours apart and both recruit heavily in Middle Tennessee. The Skyhawks know to continue their presence here, they need to win in Nashville.
The series history, of course, presented by Kentucky Wild. Partner with Kentucky Wild to protect wildlife heritage. All right, Derek Fleming, your keys to the game for UT Martin. How did they come to Hale Stadium and come out with a victory?
I'll start fast. Their great quarterback, JB3, John Backus III, came here about 2 years ago and had an awesome second half, one of his first taste of actions. He wants to keep it going today for the Skyhawks.
For Tennessee State, how did they win their second game of the season?
Well, they have to punch it in the red zone and cut out the mental mistakes. 13 penalties last week that basically took them out of the game.
And, of course, those keys to the game brought to you by Delta Dental. Unleash your smile power with Delta Dental. Listen, these two schools, they first saw each other back in 1976. This is a battle for the York Trophy.
Yeah, the York Trophy is a distinction for all OVC state schools. That's big on the recruiting trail if you're trying to recruit in Tennessee to have that distinction.
Battle for the York Trophy, battle in the 5th game of the season, potential playoff spots on the line later this year, kickoff and lineups when we come back on the OVC on ESPN+. Welcome back, everybody. Jason Simpson, 15th season at the helm of the Skyhawks. Of course, Rod Reed in his 11th season at the helm of Tennessee State Tigers football. As you see Jason Simpson over there, this battle is a big deal. We talked about it. UT Martin, Tennessee State, battle between the Middle Tennessee recruiting grounds.
Yes, it is. Coach Simpson has always come to Nashville and had success, and you see a lot of their rosters from here. So he really likes his time here in Nashville and does well recruiting.
Caleb Mosley gets ready to boot it away. And as you see there, we can talk about it. Pretty windy this afternoon here at Hale Stadium.
Yes, the other 2 matchups have been kind of dictated or been kind of bothered by wind, and this week is no different. Actually, the wind is a little bit stronger this week, a good strong left-to-right wind currently, and just blew the ball off the tee.
And we can mention, right, so you said left to right. That means the way, and you can see it's going to be a problem. Someone's going to have to hold the football. and it's going to be David Johnson who's going to hold it for Caleb Mosley. But this is the way you want to kick this game. So UT Martin elects to receive, and so they're actually going to have the better kicking angle for the second and fourth quarter as Mosley boots it away. And it will be a touchback, and so UT Martin, the Skyhawks at 2-2, will start with the football. John Backus III, you mentioned him in pregame. I know he's one of your impact players.
Yes, he is. JB3, a kid from Middle Tennessee, southern Middle Tennessee, Pulaski area. Last came to Nashville and got the start in the second half and almost stole a victory for the Skyhawks with his feet and his arm.
Of course, you just saw Rod Reed, who we mentioned in his 11th season at the helm of Tennessee State. So Backus going to start with Peyton Logan to his right as we get ready for the first snap on Sunday. It will be a carry for Logan. He'll go for a couple of yards. Peyton Logan, the senior out of Horn Lake, Mississippi, stands at 5'8", 190. 53 rushing attempts on the season, now 54. 248 yards and a touchdown. And a good thing to note, too, for UT Martin, they are without their backup running back, LaMarcus Young, today. So Zach Wallace slides in. As Backus gets ready for his first throw of the day, it's completed nicely, and that is the first down of the afternoon for UT Martin.
Yeah, Alex, that's just a simple option route for the tight end, and he's just set in between the backer and the safety and found yardage for the first down.
That was Donnell Williams, the redshirt senior out of St. Louis, Missouri. One of the best receivers in the OVC. Backus takes the snap. He's going to go deep here on first down. It is incomplete. It looked like for a second it was caught there by Colton Dowell. Instead, terrific coverage by TSU.
Yeah, that was close coverage by Nick Harper Jr. Had a step on him, but he was able to catch up because, once again, I think the wind affected that ball, Alex, and kind of held it up to let him get back into the play.
Nick Harper Jr., redshirt senior, local kid out of Brentwood, Tennessee. He has been so dynamic for them defensively all season long.
Yeah, he keeps his fingertips on the ball. A lot of pass breakups for a cornerback.
Speaking of pass breakups, he has 4 on the season. Make it 5 after that one. 2nd and 10. Direct handoff this time. And it will be about 3 yards that time for Marquell Odom, the senior out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Well, you see the plan early for Coach Simpson. They've kind of struggled running the football, and he's trying to find ways to get the ball on the edges and try to extend the run game with quick passes and jet sweeps. So Tigers was smelling that one out.
3rd and 8 here for UT Martin. You think Tennessee State brings pressure?
Historically, they haven't, but let's see what they do here.
Tennessee State almost into the neutral zone that time. Nothing called.
Well, they do a lot of that, Alex.
Tennessee State 41 penalties on the season. As Backus drops back. He has pressure in his face. This one is incomplete. And a good defensive stand that time for the Tigers. That was Detoye Adewale with the pressure.
Yes, that's the kid from Cane Ridge. He's a true freshman getting his first basically start of the season, and he got back there pretty quick.
Yeah, he only has 3 tackles on the year. Again, there are a lot of injuries, a lot of COVID protocols going on this season, as everyone knows. But Tennessee State gets the stand after 1 first down for the Skyhawks. This is Larco. He is the punter and the kicker. As there is a big-time collision. There's the first penalty of the afternoon, and we'll see what the call is.
Yeah, that's interesting, Alex. There was contact with the receiver, Dayron Johnson, and you can't do that. He got there very early, and that's probably going to be 15 yards against the Skyhawks, giving the Tigers great field position on their first possession.
And I was going to mention, too, Dresser Wynn, the third-string quarterback, and the punter, as you can see, it is on UT Martin. That's likely going to be 15 yards. But Dresser Wynn, he is out today. That was ruled about an hour before game time. So Larco will have the kicking duties and the punting duties for the Skyhawks this afternoon.
Yeah, that'll keep them busy. Kickers have a lot of downtime on the sideline, Alex, so he just picked up another responsibility, and I'm pretty sure he just did a great job kicking that one into the wind.
All right, Isaiah Green in his third start now at Tennessee State. Of course, he didn't start the first game of the season. Actually, this is the fourth start of the year for him. He didn't start the opening game of the season as he drops back to pass. This is completed nicely, and that is going to be a completion to Josh Trueheart, the tight end, out of the backfield.
Yeah, that's a little RPO action early for the Tigers offense, and quick pressure in the backfield for the Skyhawks, but Green was able to turn his head and get it out quick for positive yardage.
So that was a gain of 4. Trueheart, local kid, 6'5", 245 out of Nashville. Green takes the snap, and this one is incomplete that time to Deron Johnson. But, all right, what can we expect from Isaiah Green, the transfer from Marshall?
Well, you're hoping that he controls the offense and doesn't turn the ball over. As you see, they're trying to start off quick passes, quick hitters, just some easy throws to get them in a rhythm.
And what do you expect today from UT Martin defensively?
I expect them to blitz the Tigers. They're on multiple front defense and bring a lot of different looks, and so see if they can confuse the young quarterback for the Tigers.
Skyhawks defensive coordinator Chris Palazzi. He does not elect to bring pressure. This one is, oh my goodness, that would have been an unbelievable Odell Beckham Jr.-like catch if that was completed that time by Zaire Thornton. Instead, it's a 3-and-out for Tennessee State.
Yeah, the Skyhawks got off the field pretty quick, had a bad penalty on the punt, but was able to lock down the Tigers, giving them positive yards on the first play. After that, no more yards, and it's 3-and-out for the Tigers offense.
And that's kind of been a theme for Tennessee State this year, is 3-and-outs early, not jumping out to the gate with a quick start and a quick strike. As Mosley kind of fumbled the snap a little bit, able to kick it away, and he's going to get a friendly Tigers bounce right around the 11-yard line.
Yeah, if you're a Tiger fan, you're kind of looking like if Isaiah could throw the ball accurately there, that was an easy pitch and catch, and he just threw it high. He had an out route, had enough yards for the first down, and just overthrew a 6'3" receiver in Zaire Thornton, and that's what you got to have is him connecting. His completion percentage is only 55%, so he's going to have to find a rhythm and try to get the offense moving.
So UT Martin this year, 2-2, lost to Murray State 14-10 to open the year, beat Eastern Illinois 28-15, lost to Jacksonville State 37-20, then a thrilling win 37-34. As this handoff will go for a couple of yards at the most that time, as Tennessee State had pressure up front. But let's talk more about the redshirt sophomore out of Pulaski, Tennessee, and John Backus III. 80 of 141 for 851 yards, 57% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the year. He is terrific.
Yes, he is. Everybody thinks about how big his arm is and how big of a specimen he is, but he's a great athlete. He can really move back there in the pocket, get some yardage with his feet, and that would really makes him dangerous.
This one is completed over here to the near side that time. That completion goes to Donnell Williams, his second of the game. Donnell Williams, who had 13 receptions for 164 yards last year, and 1 touchdown that came against Murray State in the 2019 season.
Alex, I expect to see JB3 use his feet or his legs on this play. Let's see if they do a little RPO action here.
3rd and 5 for the Skyhawks. Backus drops back, and this is incomplete. He tried to find Williams again, and it's a 3-and-out for UT Martin.
Yeah, he had it, though. If he keeps it and just continues to run, I think he gets the first down. He saw that crosser flash at him late and just overthrew him. Both quarterbacks are starting off slow with completing passes.
A little stoppage of play here.
They're moving the ball back. Maybe it was missed spot. And it was.
How often do you see that? Wow. All right, Larko to punt it away. His second punt of the game. He likes to roll to his right. See if he can get the friendly bounce. This one will trickle to right around the 40-yard line, about the 42. And that will take us to our first media break of the afternoon. About 4 and change into this one on Sunday. No score between the in-state rivals of UT Martin and Tennessee State. Back here in Nashville as Tennessee State gets ready for their second drive of the game. Go over some of the lineups here. Brandon Jones is the left tackle. Robert Lacey, the left guard. Sean McMorr, graduate transfer from Vanderbilt, the center. Will James is at right guard. Cam Durley is at right tackle. And, of course, Isaiah Green, the quarterback, transfer from Marshall. Trueheart, who already has a reception at tight end. Devon Starling is the running back, star running back for TSU. We get to call his name today. And then Dayron Johnson, Cam Weich, and company are the wide receivers. As Green keeps it that time. It looks like it's a loss of 1. That was a good push up front that time from the nose tackle and Cameron Bowdry.
Yeah, just a little correction there, Alex. That left tackle is Jalen Gupton, the kid from Nashville. Looked like he was a late ad. And so, once again, they was just trying to get it right for make sure they can see your kid out there. We want to be able to identify him.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm just going off the lineups we were given, so
Right.
I'm glad you caught that. I'm sure there could be a couple of other changes. Been a wild year as 2nd and 11. This one's completed. Wide open down the field. It's a big connection. Biggest one of the afternoon that time for the redshirt junior out of Douglasville, Georgia, Cam Weich. He's been their go-to man all season.
Yeah, the Tigers saw that the Skyhawks was keying on the run game, had one-on-one coverage on the outside. Quick slant, perfect throw, big gain for the Tigers. First down.
And I promise you, Skyhawks fans, we will get to the defense and who's playing today and who's in and who's out. This one is handed off to the freshman. He's got a hole. He's bouncing off a couple of tackles. Looks to be just short, about a foot short of the first down marker. That's a gain of 9 for the ever-so-talented freshman out of your hometown, Antioch, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's Starling. Once again, he's a downhill runner, can run it inside outside, just a simple inside zone, found the crease and got positive yardage.
Starling's coming off one of the best freshman games you can have, and especially at Tennessee State. 19 rushes, 149 yards last week against Murray State. This one is 2nd and inches. They give it to Starling again. He's up the gut, and he's got a first down and then some.
Yep, you're seeing the Tigers having a little tempo and starting their RPO action and back-to-back runs for Starling, the outstanding freshman out of Cane Ridge High School. Former 6A Mr. Football is getting a chance to get some positive time on the field and making positive yardage.
All right, so Tennessee State, they're inside the red zone. We spoke to Rod Reed earlier this week. He said we have to be better down at this part of the field.
Yeah, the Tigers are really struggling in the red zone. They see what they do here.
That might have been a touchdown-saving tackle that time by Takeem Young, the safety for UT Martin.
Yeah, Alex, I was watching that play, but also the side judge had a little hiccup and kind of fell. I was seeing if he was okay. Looked like he's going to stay in the game. He's courageous.
Absolutely. The wind's blowing in my face. I want to go on the injured list. Is this time they try a run to the right to Starling, and he can't get anything.
Yeah, back-to-back runs, and now 3rd down, and the Tigers are in the red zone area. And this was an area of concern for Coach Reed. In our interview, he said we have to score 6 and not kick 3 in the red zone this week to win.
Antonio Zita, the talented kicker for Tennessee State. Rod Reed said, we've just used him too much this season. So 3rd and 5 here for the Tigers. Isaiah Green changing the play at the line. They are going to hand to Starling. He's going to try and go to the left. He breaks off a tackle, bullies his way for a first down. And, man, when in doubt, give it to number 3.
Yes, that was all Starling. He had a small crease, and he made one guy miss and refused to go down, and that's a first down for the Tigers. They ran the ball 3 consecutive times, which goes against convictional wisdom, but they got the first down on now. First and goal.
Devon Starling, 6 feet, 190. But it feels like he's built at 230, 240 the way he bulldozes through everyone.
Yeah, his center of gravity is outrageous.
First and goal at the 5. This is going to be a handoff, and it is going to be a touchdown. That is Sabree Curtis Jr., the third-string running back for TSU, and the redshirt senior out of Atlanta, Georgia, gets those 6 points that Rod Reed said we desperately needed early on in the game.
Yeah, Coach Rod Reed had emphasis on the red zone, so that's 1 for 1. The Skyhawks got caught sleeping a little bit because Curtis was snuck in the game. He's the speed back, found the crease, had a good kick-out block from his fullback, and walked it in for the score.
To give you an idea, that's just the 6th rushing attempt of the season for Sabree Curtis Jr. And that is his first touchdown of the year. Heath Williams will hold it. Antonio Zito will kick it, and he makes the point after attempt. So Tennessee State on their second drive of this Sunday afternoon here in Nashville, they strike for 6, add the 7th, and they lead it 7-0 when we come back. That's got to feel good for Sabree Curtis Jr. He had not scored since his freshman year, and he was an integral part of this Tennessee State offense, Derek Fleming, his freshman and sophomore campaigns.
Oh, yeah, man. He's one of those kids that you really root for. Really had success early in his career, freshman and sophomore year, but was hampered with injuries to both ankles, and it was kind of just fought his way back. Great for the Tigers to see him out there getting an opportunity.
And, of course, that whole drive was set up by his teammate and number 3 in Devon Starling.
Yeah, that's what I think caught the Skyhawks a little bit off guard. When Starling came off, they expected him to probably throw the football, and they snuck it to Curtis and ran a little outside zone and had a kick-out block from a fullback, and he was able to walk it in. And
that 30-plus yard strike from Green to White really set up everything to get them in near the red zone. But, all right, John Backus III out for his 3rd drive today. See what the Skyhawks dial up. Offensive coordinator Kevin Bannon in his 9th season. As Backus trots back to throw. This one's completed. And out of bounds goes Marquell Odom right around midfield. And he'll actually be in Tiger territory here. And that's a good first connection.
Yeah, beautiful route combination there. He came across the field, drag route, cleared out on the front side, and Backus found him wide open for an easy throw. First down, Skyhawks.
It's a 28-yard completion. Marquell Odom, 6 receptions, 34 yards last game for the senior out of local Murfreesboro. This is going to be a handoff this time to Peyton Logan. Logan finds little room on that left side as he gets a couple on first down. Peyton Logan, the senior out of Horn Lake, Mississippi. He had 17 rushing attempts last week against Austin Peay, 82 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 receptions for 7 yards. And again, no LaMarcus Young today. So it's him and Wallace as this one is thrown, completed to Logan. He's got room on the left side. Peyton Logan is forced out of bounds, but not before. It's a big-time first down. And that was a really nice job by Backus to use the check down.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think it was a check down. It was a designed screen. They set it up perfect for the Tigers. They kind of started going back to the weak side, spreading the Tigers out to the broad side of the field and coming back to the short side and finding success. Beautiful play call by Coach Simpson.
So that is Zach Wallace on Backus's right. Backus will throw. He's got a wide open man down the field. It is a touchdown for Donnell Williams. His 3rd reception of the game. And how about that quick answer for the Skyhawks?
Oh, yeah, they wanted to answer back quick. I told you this is going to be a barn burner. These are both teams that want to win the Battle of Middle Tennessee. And Coach Simpson said, hold on, I got JB3, and he let him loose on that drive. Touchdown, Skyhawks.
That is the third touchdown reception of the season, as the point-after attempt is good by Larco. But the third touchdown reception of the year for Donnell Williams. And boy, was that a quick answer. I believe we are going to step aside here in Nashville. So Tennessee State strikes for 7, then UT Martin answers with 7. John Backus with his 8th touchdown pass of the season. Phil Steele, preseason All-OVC. I mean, he leads almost every category, it feels like, statistically for quarterbacks in the Ohio Valley Conference. He is so fun to watch.
JB3. I coined that, Alex. I want you to know. Nobody
go.
told me that. I made that up.
Absolutely.
What a phenomenal quarterback. He has the arm strength, has the size, has the football sense, and just knows how to play the game, and comes to Nashville and shows out every time. Beautiful drive for the Skyhawks.
He is first in passing yards per game in the OVC with 213, and the most touchdowns now with 8. As this one is fumbled by TSU. It was never caught. And we'll see what the signal is. And the ball is going to stay with Tennessee State. Boy, that could have been a major disaster on the kickoff.
Yeah, I was sitting here looking at that, Alex. That defender has to know that ball is being pushed down. He never got underneath it, and their Tigers are lucky. Just not a very good effort from that defender. Well, he's not a defender. He's a receiver to let that ball come to him like that. That wind is pushing that ball down. He has to know that when he gets on the field.
Ken Crosswinds from left to right said it may play a factor. He saw the ball falling off the tee a couple of times, and it looks like we're going to get a penalty, actually, on UT Martin.
Yeah, that's some type of procedure penalty. I don't know if that happens when the ball was touched. It looked like it was touched by the TSU guy, right? Did TSU touch it?
I think it looks like the call was on the kickoff itself. I don't know if there was some sort of, I don't know. It's hard to see what the head referee called there.
Well, they're wavering it. They mark it against the Skyhawks, and so obviously it's something that happened during the play, which gives the Tigers once again great field position on their third drive of this game.
So taking a look at how UT Martin lines up defensively. You got Jamarius Landers, defensive end. Austin Pickett's at the defensive tackle position. Boundary, who we saw make a big tackle, playing nose tackle today. Then David Dubose, another defensive end. Then linebackers of Decarius Stevens and John Ford. Jaquez Akins, Takeem Young, Devin Sims. The safeties as Starling goes up the gut on this Skyhawks defense. So he gets tackled just short of the first down marker. That's a gain of 9. And then the two defensive backs in Jay Woods and Vincent Guy. Of course, Guy, who did not play last game. Then you're also going to see a lot of Wanye Moten and Carson Evans as well.
Now, the Wanye, Alex.
And this is going to be Bryant with the carry. So this is a quarterback change here. No Isaiah Green.
Yeah, that's Bryant.
And that is Davion Bryant, who started the season for Tennessee State, then got pulled in about the third quarter of the opener against Austin Peay.
Yeah, he caught a bad break. He got caught in a monsoon down in Clarksville and basically didn't really get a chance, and now he's in the game. He is a dual threat and the brother of NBA superstar Robert Covington.
This is the handoff to Starling. He'll try the right side, and Devon Starling picks up, it looks like about 7 there, maybe 8. So it will be second and short. And actually, they may give him the first down. Now they give him the first down that time. Looked like the spot was going to be more than a yard short.
Well, the white cap is saying first down. The chain gang is just now moving, so they finally saw him, so it is a first down.
Listen, I make a lot of mistakes, Derek, I promise you. It's hard to see what was happening there. This is going to be another handoff to Starling, and man, it just feels like a lot of the formula is give it to number 3 about 20 to 25 times a game.
Why would you do anything else? He's a workhorse. And the Skyhawks are really trying to take him out of the ball game. They have a lot of people around the line of scrimmage, which has allowed the TSU quarterback to have some good connections.
Devon Starling is averaging the most yards per game in the OVC with 95 and yards per carry at 5.6. He's 13th in the country in yards per game and 19th in the country in yards per carry. To give you an idea of how talented this freshman has been. It's going to be a handoff. Or no, excuse me. Bryant keeps it. He's got room. He may have the edge. Davion Bryant is into the end zone. Fooled me. And that is the second touchdown of the afternoon and this first quarter for Tennessee State. Boy, that has to feel good for Bryant.
What happened, Alex? I'm still looking at 22 thinking he had the ball.
It was an amazing
and
play.
And Bryant kept it. What a play. Second opportunity for Bryant to get a chance to get in the game, and then you come in and do a play like that, make the Tiger fans pretty happy. That's an impressive drive on the ground for a touchdown.
Bryant, who has not played since that opener against Austin Peay. That was his 8th rushing attempt of the season, and that's a big one, the biggest of his young career as Zeta tacks on the extra point. And boy, we've had some offense here in this first quarter.
Yeah, so, that is. I mean, both teams are starting to do exactly what they want to do, which is run the football, get started quick, and we got 21 points in the first quarter. So, hey, both teams got the message. You said earlier, Alex, the time is now. It's playoff time. Every game count. Sergeant York, and both teams are coming out ready to play today.
Davion Bryant attended Proviso West High School, where he threw for over 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. And he was a rusher in high school. He rushed for 630 yards and 10 touchdowns, so almost 2,000 all-purpose yards his senior year.
Yeah, he's a pretty great athlete, has the size, has the arm strength, and you just saw the athletic ability to come around the corner and outrun the Skyhawks defense. So the future is promising for the Tigers offense. They got 2 signal callers. Both have put points on the board today.
And yet again, another touchback that time on the boot for Mosley. All right, so back and forth, kind of like a boxing match. We thought we may have some of this. I don't think we knew, though, that the score would wind up being 14-7. Could be more here at the end of the first quarter.
Well, Alex, I got to get back to the Skyhawk. One yay. Now, I'm a Boys to Men fan. I know that kid had to be named after Wanye of
no
Boys
question.
I mean, come on now. Yeah, so having a great time. Awesome name. Skyhawks has the football.
Backus will keep it. Play action here. And this one's intercepted. This one was picked that time. And boy, did he read that route terrifically. That's an interception for, it looked like, Kenyon Garlington.
Yeah, it was Garlington, the local area kid whose brother also played at Tennessee State. Father even played at Tennessee State. Usually it's the nickelback for the Tigers. Made a great break on the ball for that interception.
Take a look at the replay here again.
Yeah, as you see, he's coming underneath coverage, and he had a guy bring him into the plane that he was covering, and JB3 never saw him, never thought he would be in that spot, and just made a mental mistake there. Big play for the Tigers defense.
That pass was intended for Colton Dowell. But Kenyon Garlington, who didn't play last game, right? And so, again, he's kind of played that nickelback safety position this year for TSU. That's going to be a big, big feeling for the redshirt sophomore, again, out of your hometown of Antioch. So now Bryant's back out there here to start this drive. He's going to drop back to pass. He's going to go deep here into the end zone, as he just does overshoot his man in Cam White.
Ooh, we talked about the athleticism in high school, but he just threw a bullet to Weiss. He just was a couple of steps ahead of him with that ball, but what a beautiful pass, and the Tigers are trying to put a strike fast on the Skyhawks. The Skyhawks need to kind of right the ship and slow the Tigers down.
That is Sean McCauley, the redshirt junior out of Chattanooga, to Bryant's right. This handoff goes to McCauley. McCauley tries to work up the gut that time, and we'll get about 4 yards, so that'll leave us with a 3rd and 6.
Well, when you get on this side of this side of the field with the Tigers, and you get into the 3rd down situation, you start thinking about Zeta, right? Zeta,
as you said, Zeta time.
Yeah, Zeta time. I mean, so let's see if the Tigers can convert on 3rd down. But they're already in range for Zeta, who kicked it from 62 going this way a couple of weeks back.
This is a situation where Rod Reed has talked about. Says he wants to see less of that and more conversions, and you're going to get a false start that time to really back things up. It's now 3rd and 12.
Well, you can't fault big Robert Lacey. He's a big guy. He got it going the wrong way and couldn't stop. But nevertheless, those are the mental mistakes that the Coach Rod Reed and the Tigers are just frustrated with, putting themselves in bad situations and long down situations.
In Tennessee State, they average over 10 penalties a game. Not good, obviously, but that's just their first one here in the first quarter. But now 3rd and 12. Bryant's going to drop back. He has a little bit of pressure. He has a man. That one is instead incomplete. Looked like at first it was caught by Cedric Watkins, a freshman local kid out of Nashville, Tennessee. Instead it was dropped, and now here you go. This is where you have one of the best kickers, not only in the OVC, but in the country, to attempt a pretty long field goal here.
Yeah, Zeta time, and it's going to be over 50 yards.
About a 51-yarder, it looks like.
Looking at the flags, the wind is behind him, so I think he has pretty enough leg to get it here. Let's see if he can get it.
Carson Buchanan's going to snap it. Heath Williams will hold it. Zeta, 51 yards. It is on the way, and it is Zeta time yet again here in Nashville as he buries a 51-yarder.
Yep, that's good from 60, Alex. That's a I mean, you can
and we
hear
saw
from up
62
here.
2 weeks ago here at Hale Stadium.
Right. I mean, you can hear his foot contact the football. He has a powerful leg, and he just drives this ball right between the goalposts for 3. 17 points in the first quarter for the Tigers. Wow.
That is Zeta's 11th make of the season. He's now 11 of 14. He is now 4 of 5 from 50-plus, including that 62-yard.
Yeah, his partner in crime is Mosley, who is the place kicker, and basically says, Zeta just kicks 50-yard field goals, for lunch. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
He does it all the time, he says.
And when Rod Reed told us, he said when he brought out Zeta to kick the 62-yarder, he said he literally, like he just said, he makes that every single day in practice.
Yeah,
there was no hesitation to bring him out.
At all. He said he watched him in warm-ups, and he had made several from 60-plus. 4 minutes left in the game. He took him out there and had plenty of confidence in Zeta to kick 62 yards.
And it's amazing, too. Zeta came into this year. His career-long field goal was 51. He has well surpassed that now. He just kicks those every week.
Pretty awesome story. Tennessee kid. Very faithful kid. You get a chance to chat with him. Just a great family, great kid. Great to see him have an opportunity to show off his talent like that.
All right, so JB3, as you called him. He was intercepted for the fourth time this season last time. And they will start on the ground. A nice run up the gut for just around 9 yards that time for Peyton Logan. But for the UT Martin, left tackle is Michael Shanahan. Left guard is Reed Davis. The center is Mathin Hatchie. Crew Birdyshaw, one of the best names in the business. The right guard. Then the right tackle is Gavin Olson. Then John Backus, of course, JB3, is the quarterback. Rodney Williams, the tight end, kind of that hybrid position, plays wide receiver as well. Peyton Logan, Zach Wallace in the backfield. Then Colton Dowell, Donnell Williams, Marquell Odom, the talented wide receiving core for the Skyhawks. Of course, I know we had a player down for Tennessee State.
Yeah, it looked like it was James Green, who's been Mr. Everything for the Tigers defense. Of course, he has a brother, Josh, but the Tigers can ill afford to lose James because they are very depleted at the linebacker position. But it looks like he's going to shake it off and be okay.
At this point, it feels like the Tigers can't afford to lose anyone.
Yeah, they can't lose a water girl right now. I mean, that's how bad it is. I mean,
absolutely. This is going to be a carry this time. It looked like Logan was going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Instead, kind of scurries his way out of bounds for about 6 yards. So he looks really talented here. It's the first time we're getting to see him this year. But they have a good running back to back up, right? Backus in that throwing game.
Yep, well, Simpson always has a great quarterback and a great running back in his time down in Martin, Tennessee, and this season is no different. He has some pretty talented players out here, and that's why they are where they are in the standings, just right behind the two leaders in the OVC.
And that is the end of the first quarter. Really nice start for the home team in Tennessee State. They want that York trophy. They know what's at stake. They also want their second OVC win of the year. We step aside, second quarter, when we... Second quarter here in Nashville. It's a 1st and 10 for UT Martin. Tennessee State able to put up 17 points in that first quarter. And guess what, Derek Fleming? They only averaged 17.5 on the year.
Yeah, that's big time for the Tigers offense, finally getting some chance to get some continuity. And the big thing is they cashed it in when they were in the red zone where they struggled. So if you're the Tigers fan, you're feeling pretty good about the offense, and pretty sure if you're a Skyhawk fan, you know your defense is going to bow up because you guys only average giving up by 25 points a game.
Right, and this is exactly. I was just going to say it's a UT Martin team only averaging 25 points allowed per game, and so it's pretty decent defense for Jason Simpson and company.
And you know the Skyhawks offense leads the OVC in pass yards. So when you got JB3,
yeah.
you know he's getting ready.
Absolutely.
He's always dangerous.
We know about this offense, and there is John Backus. He's going to go deep, see if he has a man. There was some holding there, and we are going to get a flag. That one is going to be thrown more than likely on Nick Harper Jr.
Yeah,
and you got a Tiger down.
Yeah, that one right there is a tough one because that ball may not been catchable. Nevertheless, because they took off in the wind, now the Skyhawks have the win, and that ball just took off on JB3. Nevertheless, they get the call. It's a first down for the Skyhawks.
So it is a first down, and also more concern for Tennessee State is maybe their most important defensive player these last couple of weeks in Davion Hawkins having to be helped off the field.
Yeah, he was one of the players to watch that we discussed, having 3 sacks for the season and 7 tackles for loss, so that the Tigers can ill afford to lose Big Hawkins, the transfer from University of Kentucky.
So after the penalty, UT Martin in Tiger territory, and Backus gets blitzed pretty nicely and fumbles the football. It's on the ground. It will get out of bounds. You could just see this relentless pressure from Tennessee State early.
Well, one of the keys to the game for UT Martin was control the line of scrimmage because the Tigers' front four has been ferocious all year. And once again, that's penetration up the middle by the big nose tackle Cameron Stewart, who came in quick and had JB3 on his heels, and they're lucky to maintain possession of the ball, second and long.
And my favorite part of that was after the play when Stewart's on the ground, pounding the ground because he knew he had a chance to wrap up Backus. But that's a loss of 5, so 2nd and 15. Backus will go the short route, and this is completed. Trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, and they will do just that. As that connection between Backus and who else but Donnell Williams.
Yeah, Mr. Williams is the guy for Backus to look for when he needs help. The senior from St. Louis is usually who he looks for, and once again they connect for positive yards, but now it's 3rd and long. And Hawkins is back on the field, Alex. He just set out one play.
Justin Roberts, the defensive coordinator for Tennessee State. See what he draws up here on 3rd and 10. See what Kevin Bannon wants to draw up offensively. Backus, pressure in his face yet again. Backus going to have to scramble. This will be nowhere close to a first down. He just got back to the line of scrimmage. So Tennessee State, another defensive stand.
Yeah, on that drive right there, you saw some very athletic big guys for the Tigers moving around pretty quick. That time it was Teray Jones, the sophomore out of Madison, Florida, who brought pressure on a TN split. And that was a big drive after the pass interference call, which put them in plus territory, and the Tigers hold.
So Larco going to punt it away here, trying to pin TSU inside the 10. His punt is going to be inside the 10. A really nice punt that time, as it was fair caught by Starling. And so we will take a break. Tennessee State, they're trying to build on this lead. We'll likely see Davion Bryant again in this offense come back for their first drive of the second quarter.
For Smile Power with Delta Dental of Tennessee. Talk to your employer or visit coveryourmouth.com today to learn more.
Back here at Hale Stadium, we're going to give you our first trivia question. This is for all OVC fans, especially UT Martin fans. Last season, John Backus led the nation in passing yards by a freshman with 2,549. How many passing yards did Derek Carr have in his first year as a starter in 2010? Was it more or less than Backus had in 2019?
Alex, where are you getting these questions from? Are you just trying to just stump me? I mean, these are just stump Derek questions, because that's a good one. I hope somebody on Twitter can hit you up and see if they can get that one right.
Of course, you can tag us at OVC on OVC Sports on Twitter, as well as Alex Gold 714, and use the hashtag OVC Trivia to play along. And it was not Davion Bryant to start the drive at quarterback for Tennessee State. They're going back to Isaiah Green. Little cat and mouse here from Rod Reed.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when we discussed it on Thursday with our coach's interview, he said he was going to stay with the hot hand. And it was pretty obvious that Bryant was the hot hand, but nevertheless, he comes back with Green. And also, you're not seeing Starling on the field. That's the second or third carry for McCauley.
How hard is that to scout when you have two quarterbacks to worry about instead of one? And that carry this time going to go to White, the wide receiver. As that one was ripped away, it actually wasn't White, as it was ripped away, but that was Deron Johnson who was ruled down. And it looks like he got a penalty on the play.
Yeah, there was some activity after the play, Alex, and it came from the Skyhawk, and looked like he might got caught there. That would definitely be a mistake to move the Tigers 15 yards, because they were deep in their own territory. And yes, it is. It's a penalty against the Skyhawks.
So that's going to go on number 17. That's Jaquez Akins.
Yeah, that hurts the Skyhawks, because he's one of their senior leaders, and he's also was preseason OVC, all OVC. And you can't have one of your seniors make one of those mistakes. That's big time for the Skyhawks defense, who had an opportunity to flip field position.
So that penalty moves Tennessee State up 15 yards. This is going to be a handoff, it looks like. This time it's to Jalen Rouse.
Yeah, Rouse is a true freshman out of Georgia, and I know the Tigers are really excited about him. He's the speed burner. He's the game breaker, and they're trying to get him in and get his feet wet. But now Mr. Starling is back in the game, and see what the Tigers do. Steady having success running the football.
That is just Jalen Rouse's 6th carry of the season. He had 2 last week for 5 yards. Starling back into game. Green's going to pass. Thought he had White, and we're going to get a late flag. This very well could be a hold.
Oh, most definitely.
On UT Martin.
Yeah, it was definitely a hold. It was a hold right away. He had gotten beaten with the RPO action, and Weiss, who's the big play threat from Kentucky, once again got loose, and he had to hold him to keep him from scoring. So right now, the Skyhawks are helping the Tigers' offense with back-to-back penalties. Let's see if the Skyhawks can right the ship and make the Tigers earn their points or their possessions.
So that hold's going to go on Krishan Jackson. Gets the hold that time for UT Martin. Talk about it all the time. All the time. Penalty is a big difference in this sport.
It is. It really makes a difference. Giving away free yardage, you just can't afford it.
There is Starling. Bounces off another tackle, then slips. And, of course, once you hit the ground, you are down. So a nice job by the Skyhawks to bring pressure and get to Starling. Not the first time we've seen that today.
Yep, that time it was actually the field that got Starling, because if he keeps his feet, he's going to get around that corner, and that's going to be a problem. It's just amazing how his balance and how he runs so low to the ground and keeps his balance, man. He's a very talented player.
Of course, there was really good pressure from Decarius Stevens as Green's going to drop back to pass. You may get another flag, and you do. And that time, the flag is going to go on to Keem Young.
Yeah, the Tigers are really fooling the Skyhawks. Well, a lot of play action, and since you started running the football well, they are biting up on the run and getting beat on play action, and that's the second time that the Skyhawks had to hold to keep from a big play or touchdown happening, which could be a smart thing to do.
Did you say the Seahawks?
I almost said it. I almost said it. I caught it. I saw see. Of course, we know it's the Skyhawks.
Isn't this rivalry fun to watch? I mean, it really is fun to watch. These two schools every year, it's just back and forth, back and forth. I mean, you saw the last 10 meetings that UT Martin had won 6 of the last 10, but always so evenly played are these games.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is that Coach Simpson and Coach Reed, when it comes to Saturday or now Sunday, you know, they are built rivalries.
That's why you said the Seahawks, by the way, because we're playing on Sunday.
Right. And so, but both have outstanding key quarterbacks, and I think they play on the same travel team. So when they're not playing against each other, they're actually on the same team, Coach Simpson and Coach Reed.
This one's to Starling. He's going backwards. How is he going to get yards out of this? And he's not. He's met by a swarm of Skyhawks that time. That was both linebackers in Decarius Stevens and Chris Hunter, the redshirt freshman out of Knoxville.
Yeah, that float right there from inside out. And they had a little bit of penetration that made Starling go around and not go inside when the play was designed, and they cleaned it up well. That's a big loss of 4 on first down.
Hunter, who had 3 tackles and a sack last game, got 13 tackles on the year, 3.5 for a loss. He's going to get credited with another one there. And Stevens, who had only just 1 tackle last game, but he's looked really nice for them defensively in that linebacker spot. Green's going to roll out, 2nd and 14, roll to his right. He's got a man, throws a bullet pass. This is Daron Johnson. And Daron Johnson that time, a sophomore out of Springfield, Tennessee, his 2nd reception of the game.
Oh, yeah, that was probably the best throw of the day for Green. I mean, he was rolling to his right and just put, like you said, a bullet onto Fat Cat Johnson out of Springfield for a first down on 2nd and long. That was a big-time play to maintain the possession.
Why do they call him Fat Cat?
I have no idea. The kid came to Tennessee State with the nickname, and it just stuck with him.
Starling gets about 3 there on first down. Amazing the hands that, as you said, Fat Cat has. That throw on the radar gun is about 100 miles an hour from Isaiah Green.
Yeah, if you're a Tiger fan, that really looked like a former Tiger that was here last year that really was awesome, which was Chris Johnson. He would catch balls like that, similar size and build. But once again, you know, Roland is in the NFL, and now Fat Cat is taking his position and thriving.
Starling right side has the edge. It's about a yard short of the first down. So it looks like it's going to be 3rd and 1 here for Tennessee State.
Yeah, are you seeing now the Skyhawks are really bringing in their big boy package and are really trying to control the tackles and guards and centers for the Tigers to try to maintain gap integrity for the run game. But the Tigers have now moved their game from inside to outside and are now started running outside of the tackle.
And they're going to say that Starling stepped out of bounds before getting near the chain. So it's actually 3rd and 4. As Green drops back. He's looking, see if he wants to use his legs. He's trying to find anyone. He's going to use the legs, and he is not going to get. Or he may.
Oh, yeah,
they may give it to him. Yeah, he did just get past the sticks, so it's a first down.
Yeah, if you're a Skyhawk fan, you just dodged the bullet because it was drop coverage there, and Cam Weiss was wide open in the end zone. Green never saw him but was able to get the first down. But the Tigers are starting to now exert their will on the Skyhawk defense, and the Tigers are on the roll.
Starling up the middle for a couple. So you talked about, you mentioned Chris Rowland. We can talk about him, right? He was the OVC Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. All he had was over 1,400 yards receiving.
And guess what, Alex? Every 1,400 yards was exciting. I mean, he was a showstopper. He could catch it. He could run it. Hell, he could even throw it. But glad to see him have success last year in the NFL. And
we can talk more about it when we come back. 17-7, Tigers
pay some bills.
This is our year. Give us opening day, Thursday on ESPN.
Back here at Hale Stadium, 2nd and 8 for Tennessee State. They're trying to see a beautiful shot of downtown Nashville there. Tennessee State trying to tack on to this already 10-point lead as they fake to McCauley. And Green completes it to White. He makes a sliding catch, and it'll be 1st and goal for TSU. That has been a connection between them two all season long, and a really nice catch by White.
Yeah, the UT Skyhawks, UT Martin Skyhawks are really trying to stop the run game and now really getting exclusively RPO'd and play action in the secondary for huge amounts of game. First down, Tigers.
Tennessee State will go quickly here. 1st and goal. They'll give it to McCauley. He's been their red zone back, especially their goal line back, but he could get nothing on that penetration that time.
Yeah, the Skyhawks were sick of that play. I mean, they brought it from all angles and sides and stunned that play. And I think they lost yards on that. Did they lose yards on that?
That was Devin Sims in the mix, and yeah, it looks like they lost about 1.5 yards.
You know, Devin Sims is the big-time safety for the UT Martin, who've been leading them in tackles for the year.
Yeah, he's 4th in the OVC in that category. In tackles per game, he averages 9 tackles a game. 3rd in the OVC in breakups, averages 4 a game. 2nd goal from the 11. This is a handoff to Curtis. He scored the first touchdown as he tries to knife his way in there, but he may have lost 1 yard. And so Tennessee State gets that big connection between Green to White, and now they're going backwards here.
Yeah, sideline to sideline is not what you want to call when you're inside the red zone. And so the Tigers have had negative plays, back-to-back plays.
And we talked about Chris Rowland. This is where if you had a guy like him, right? And White has kind of tried to step into that role. Different build, of course. Rowland now with the Atlanta Falcons.
Well,
but this is where you don't really have that.
Right. Well, that's what Fat Cat has to really grow his wings in situations like that, like this.
So 3rd and goal from the 12. Green drops back, and this one was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Really nice defensive play and a really nice defensive stand in the goal line. That was Tevin Shipp, the redshirt freshman out of Smyrna, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right outside of the Antioch area, Smyrna. That area has a lot of talent. They've been state champions in several sports down there, and he sniffed that play out right away. And if he doesn't, Starling just walks in because there's nobody else over there. He had his responsibility one-on-one out of the backfield. Great play by the Skyhawks to hold them to a field goal attempt.
Ship, he only played in one game last season. He attended Smyrna High School, 110 tackles, 3 interceptions, and a couple of forced fumbles in his career. He was an all-conference linebacker. Makes a big-time play there. Antonio Zeta, much closer than the 51-yarder he hit earlier, as Heath Williams holds it. And Zeta, this one is blocked. Oh, a big-time block for UT Martin. They got pressure up front. It looked like it was the linebacker, Chris Hunter, that got a piece of it.
You know, the funny thing about that, Alex, is that the long ones have not been any problem for Zeta, but he's missed them in close, and they've been blocked in close, and that happened again. It happened last week, and that's a big stop for the Skyhawks, for them to get off the field and not give them any points after giving them basically 30 yards of penalties on that drive.
Yeah, and I believe it was Chris Hunter who got his hand, that left hand. What was amazing about that, too, Derek, looking at that replay, it's almost like he stood at 10 feet tall. He didn't really run up and try and block it.
Yeah, that's a pretty athletic kid to get that arm up that high that quick, and he affected that kick, no doubt, and one of the big play for the Skyhawk defense to get off that field with no points.
And it's been a tough start on the road here between these two schools for UT Martin. That may jolt them and give them a spark.
Yep, and like I was saying earlier, if you're a Skyhawk fan, you know your defense is going to bow up. They only give up 25 points a game, and you just know they're not going to let this game just get run away for the Tigers. So that's just a great sign that they're waking up.
So Backus drops back. He's got a man. That one is completed this time, and nice job to carry the Tiger train is Rodney Williams. And that's why they call him that hybrid position of a tight end and a wide receiver. He's built 6'4", 235 out of Memphis.
Yeah, the senior refused to go down and fought for a couple of additional yards, which is huge to make it from 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 5, which is more manageable.
5 receptions, 76 yards, and a 19-yard touchdown catch for Williams last week. He's been a major part of this offense. So 3rd and 5. Tennessee State wants to get the ball back. Bring pressure on the edge. Backus has the room up front, and he will slide for the first down.
Yeah, I told you that he was going to affect the game some way or another with his legs, and that's the first time him tucking it and running with it, and that was at first down. The Tigers had not seen him move like that and were kind of surprised, and I think we're going to see more of that from JB3.
First and 10, Backus wants to go deep, but cannot complete it to Williams that time. So UT Martin, in Jason Simpson's first year, won the OVC back in 2006. They finished 3rd last year. Had a really good season in 2019, Derek. They were 6-2. Finished 3rd place just behind SEMO and Austin Peay. As I think Simpson was looking for a timeout there on the sideline, and they are going to grant it to him. So he calls his first timeout of the half. And that will take us to break here. So 3:20 to go. UT Martin trying to climb back within 1 score and 1 possession when we come back here on the OVC on ESPN+. So we asked you guys this trivia question earlier. We said last season John Backus led the nation in passing yards by a freshman with 2,549. How many passing yards did Derek Carr have in his first year as a starter in 2010? Was it more or less than Backus had in 2019? The answer was given to us by @HammerChuck, Chuck Hammer. He said Backus threw for 2,549. He knew that, and Derek Carr threw for 2,543. So Backus beat Derek Carr, one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best in UT Martin history. Of course, not the same Derek Carr as the one on the Raiders, but one that is closer to the hearts of Skyhawks fans.
Yeah, that's big time. I remember Derek Carr, and he was phenomenal down there in Martin, Tennessee. Won a bunch of football games for Coach Simpson. And, you know, that's my Derek brother, Alex. You know, we spell it the same way. And he knows how to spell Derek, okay?
Yep.
We're on the same page. So, awesome. That's great that we can have a little fun with the OVC fans, and somebody got that question right. They got you, Alex.
Hammer Chuck, we appreciate you, man. But Derek Carr threw for over 3,270 yards, 3,276 to be exact in 2012. That was the most in school history. Finished his career with 8,428. That's top 8 in OVC history, as this snap was fumbled, as the exchange between Wallace and Backus was not good, but Backus was able to jump back on it.
Yeah, after the timeout, you don't want a negative play like that. And that puts them really behind the chains on 3rd and long. You're looking at the time, under 3 minutes in the first half. This is a big play for the Skyhawks. You don't want to give the ball back to the Tigers. And because the Tigers get the ball first in the second half. So this can be a big point swing if they don't convert here.
It's 3rd and 15 here for UT Martin. See what Kevin Bannon wants to draw up. Tigers rush 4. Backus is going to go deep. Double coverage. It's intercepted. John Backus tried to take a chance, and that's the second pick thrown by him, this time by one of the two Green brothers, in Josh Green, the redshirt sophomore out of Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, every week for the Tigers defense is green and green. It's either James or Josh. Pick your poison. They are really phenomenal ball players out of the Orlando, Florida area. Know the family, met the family, great people. It's great to see him have an opportunity to showcase the talent.
Josh Green, that is his 3rd interception on the year. He had an interception last week against Murray State. It seems like when the Tigers need a big defensive play and a big defensive stand, like you said, it's one of the Green brothers between James and Josh. So now Tennessee State, they're already up by 10. This handoff going to go to Rouse. He has the right side, and was he able to dive his way? Yeah, he got the first down, but there is a flag on the field.
Hey, Alex, watch Coach Rod Reed on this call. Just watch him. We're going to see. I believe this is going to be a late holding call. I saw the hold, but the flag came real late, and there it is. Let's see what Coach Reed, I know he's going to have to say something about that one. It was the correct call, but that flag came really late, and it came from that side judge, and he had to throw that flag about 20, 25 yards, and this kind of just floated in the air. It really wasn't that bad. Coach, I think he saw it. He's talking a little bit, but it was definitely a hold out there on Cam Weiss to help that play have positive yardage.
And I think he knows his team is up by 10, too, right?
Yep, that can make you feel a little bit better.
So Isaiah Green, him and Brian have shared some of the snaps. Starling up the middle. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the speed. Starling, 30, 20, 10, 5. The freshman is superhuman to find that hole. How about that touchdown with an exclamation point?
Man, that's a beautiful play call by Coach Shannon Harris for TSU. Inside zone RPO action with a little trap. And they trapped the nose tackle, and he ran right off the butt. And he made it 60-plus yards.
This is a man who hasn't played football since 2018, Derek. Transferred from Memphis. As you see, the point after attempt is good by, or no good by Zeta. Looks like Zeta just shanked it to the left, so that could be big later on in the game. But this is a man who transferred from Memphis, hasn't played football since 2018. It doesn't look like that.
He was Mr. Football in 2018. So, I mean, he's a kid that's always excelled in the backfield, and it's giving him, the Tigers gave him an opportunity. He's a very, very smart kid, 4.0 kid, and he's really shining and thriving in the Tigers offense.
Second PAT missed by Zeta on the season. 23-7 Tennessee State leads.
Let's do our part to protect each other. and get back in the game.
Back here in Nashville, 23-7 after the Starling touchdown run. Of course, Zeta missed the point after attempt, his second PAT missed on the season. But I'm just running out of superlatives to talk about with Starling. I mean, you said Mr. Football at Cane Ridge High School in the Tennessee 6A class. As a senior, he rushed for over 1,100 yards. He had 25 touchdowns. So you see another one there. He's doing damage here, and this kick is going to go out of bounds. And we've seen that a lot from Mosley this year.
If you're a Tiger fan or you're Coach Rod Reed, you're looking at your kicker's last two kicks, and you're like, what in the world is going on here? You have All-World Zeta missing an extra point, and then you're pooch punting it, or you're pooch kicking it with Mosley, and he kicks it out of bounds. And so you give the Skyhawks the ball on the 35-yard line, less than 2 minutes in the second quarter or the first half. This is a big drive for the Skyhawks because the Tigers get the ball first in the second half. Let's see what JB3 has going on this drive.
So far, Tennessee State, they have had John Backus's number. 2 interceptions so far on the day for Backus. Instead of throwing, they're going to hand it off here. Little surprise there on that call? Are you surprised they're going to?
I am. I'm very surprised. You saw I was over here shaking my head. But once again, they may be trying to kill the clock and just get into the locker room and regroup because they haven't had the success they wanted in the first half.
But do you think with 2 minutes to go here, you're down by 16 points, that you're just trying to go satisfied with that?
Yeah, sometimes you just want to be able to regroup.
I think they're maybe just trying to have Tennessee State and catch them off guard a little bit as you see Backus scrambles there. It'll now be 3rd and 6.
Well, that's a disaster right there. JB3 cannot go out of bounds on that play because now if he was trying to run the clock out, they're going to have to run a play, and if they don't convert, the Tigers will call timeout and try to score before the end of the half.
So now we'll see what Coach Jason Simpson wants to do here on 3rd and 7, down by 16 points. Backus is going to drop back, and he's going to be crunched as he just did get the throw away, but who else but Mr. 55 and Davion Hawkins in his face.
Man, he's causing a lot of trouble for the Skyhawks offensive line. I mean, that was just a simple TE twist, and he just got in the backfield and made JB3's day very, very uncomfortable. And that's an incomplete pass which stops the clock again. And now the Tigers have the ball with less than 2 minutes, but all 3 timeouts and have to use 1 on that drive. That could be a problem for the Skyhawks.
So Larco will punt it away here. It's a good punt, and this is muffed on the punt, and wow, that is going to be a big-time punt that time from Larco, as it was mishandled by Deron Johnson.
Yeah, his knee touched down because he did not give a fair catch, did he?
I didn't see one. No, he was clearly trying to make a move.
Yeah, I mean, and he regained possession of the ball, and the whistle blew it dead. Usually that happens if there's a fair catch. I didn't see a fair catch signal. He was trying to run. Interesting play. Nevertheless, the Tigers have to go 90 to try to score here, and you have Davion Bryant back in the game.
You play it safe here if you're TSU?
No, the Tigers are getting ready to try to score. They're getting ready to try to score here.
Okay. Even with 66 seconds at your own 10? This is a handoff to Starling. Mr. Touchdown himself, and he loses 2 yards.
Yep, well, I guess that answers the question. I guess they're going to just run it down. Let's see if they go up the tempo here or they just let the clock run. Now look at UT Martin calls timeout. Coach Simpson's not going to let Coach Reed off that easy. I mean, come on now. You know better than that.
It's a battle for the York Trophy, right?
Right.
I mean, listen, you said this is the battle for Middle Tennessee. And what's interesting is I was looking at some of the sheets that I was putting down this week. And Devon Starling, he had an offer from UT Martin out of high school, right? He had offers from Central Arkansas, UT Martin, Howard University, and, of course, Memphis. Chose Memphis, did not play there, which I'm amazed at, right? Because of his skill level and what we've seen this season.
Well, the University of Memphis has a kid, I think by the name of Treadwell, out of Mississippi, that was all everything down there.
Right.
So, I mean, you see how good Starling is, but that kid is also pretty good. Nevertheless, lucky for Tigers, they have him here back in Nashville.
They're going to give it to Starling again, and he's going to be swarmed yet again, and you're likely going to get another timeout here by Jason Simpson. Or, excuse me, I guess they're out of timeouts.
Yeah, and there's no more timeouts. So the clock is running. It's about a 10-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. So the Tigers pretty much can just snap it one time and go into the locker room. If you're the Skyhawks, you know that your team is going to bounce back and play better. That's just the MO of Coach Simpson, coach teams. And if you're the Tigers, you want them to play 4 quarters. And so come out in the second half and act like it's 0-0.
Well, this half was dominated by Tennessee State, 23-7, against a defense that only allows 25 points a game. And that is the last carry of the half. Both teams are going to run off the field. We are going to head to halftime here at Hale Stadium. Halftime in Nashville. It is Old Tigers here on Sunday afternoon, a beautiful Sunday afternoon. We'll be back with halftime stats and analysis when we come back. Back here at the half at Hale Stadium, 23-7 in favor of the Tigers, Derek Fleming, as we take a look at the halftime stats. Of course, these first half stats are brought to you by Game Time Hydration, the official sports drink of the OVC. Those rush yards for Starling and company have just been ridiculous.
Yeah, that was one of the keys to the game, controlling the line of scrimmage, and the Skyhawks have not done well on either side of the ball. Offensively, they have not been able to block up Tigers and have been giving up penetration all the first half, and then on defense, they let Starling get loose, and he's over 100 yards in the first half.
Devon Starling, 17 attempts, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Of course, had that 65-yard touchdown run, longest of his Tiger career. We saw 2 quarterbacks in Isaiah Green and Davion Bryant. Rod Reed is really mixing it up.
Yeah, we talked about that early in the week, that he was going to give both quarterbacks an opportunity. I really believe that Bryant's legs really opened up everything else for the offense. It's interesting to see who will come out in the second half and start for the Tigers.
John Backus, 8 of 15, 97 yards and a touchdown. Talk about him.
Yeah, what's going on with him is that he's doing what he usually does. The problem is that they can't run the football, and it's all on his back right now. It's all on JB3. He had to use his legs a couple of times as well. So the Skyhawks got to help him out. They got to protect him up, and they got to find a way to try to control the line of scrimmage and run the football in the second half.
Of course, Donnell Williams caught that first touchdown pass. It was the second drive of the game for UT Martin. They're looking for more in the second half. We're going to come back. We'll talk more about this one in front of us.
This is our year. Give us opening day, Thursday on ESPN.
About 3 and change until kickoff, or in the second half, between Tennessee State, UT Martin, 23-7 in favor of the Tigers here at home, as they're looking and searching for that second OVC win of the year. Again, welcome inside the broadcast booth. I'm Alex Gould. He's Derek Fleming, and Derek, really, really nice half for TSU, maybe their best of the season.
Yeah, they've really cleaned up their mental mistakes and played an excellent half of football, controlling the line of scrimmage and really containing JB3, John Backus III, in the first half.
And so we're going to look at some of the second half adjustments that each team needs to make. And first, for UT Martin, what do they need to do to climb back in this game?
Yeah, they got to take the run game away from the Tigers in the second half. They've just allowed Starling and a couple of other guys in the backfield just go over 150-plus yards in the first half. Truly uncharacteristic for a Simpson coach team. So they got to start winning the trenches and try to slow the Tigers down on the run game.
And what does TSU need to do? All right, it feels like a lot of the same. They're on pace for 46 points.
Yeah, well, they got to continue to control JB3, John Backus III. He's dangerous. Last time he was here in the second half, he lit them up real good and brought the Seahawks back into the overtime and almost won that game. So you can never let John Backus III get loose. He will hurt you.
And that's exactly what he did last season in that 28-17 win. Again, this is Battle of the York Trophy, battle for potentially an FCS playoff spot later on in the season. And this is the 5th game of the year. We are over 50% of the way through the season. This is a big game in terms of how the final standings shake out.
Oh, yeah, we're up here in the press box, and we're hearing the Skyhawks coaching staff go ballistic. They truly wasn't happy with the effort in the first half. They know this is playoff time football, and you got to win them all from this point forward if you want to continue playing.
So, obviously, for Tennessee State, they come in with a record of 1-3. Lost to Murray State last week, even though it seemed like in a lot of different stat categories, we're stat guys. We like looking at it. We like looking at all the numbers. But against Murray State last week, what is the change? What is the difference you see from that game against the Racers to today against the Skyhawks?
Execution. And lack of mental mistakes. They haven't turned the ball over. They don't have a bunch of penalties. And they've cashed in the red zone, which they didn't do against Murray State. And so that was one of the keys to the game. They had to cash it in. Still, they wasn't 100% in the red zone. Went there a couple of times and didn't get to nothing but 3. But all in all, if you are a Tiger fan and you're Coach Rod Reed, you're very excited about that first half effort.
Isaiah Green or Davion Bryant? Who do you think we see first for TSU here in the second half?
Well, you saw a little bit of Bryant, and you saw what he brought to the offense, which was some more legs and some more threat. Let's see if they bring him out to see if they get some reps and see if they can get him going as well.
So the horn's going to sound about 20 seconds. Again, this game has always been close. So you know that the Skyhawks, and by the way, that missed point by Zeta, his second PAT missed on the season, could play a big factor in this second half. Instead of a 17-point lead for TSU, 3-score lead, it's 16.
Yeah, that kept the Skyhawks in two-possession territory. Of course, 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions. You never want to leave points on the board. On the field. He also missed a field goal that was well within his range, inside of 40 yards. So there were still some points left out there for the Tigers, and the Skyhawks are still in this football game.
And it's starting to get chillier. I'm going to put my sweatshirt on.
Well, you see how I come, Alex. I come layered.
Way more prepared than me.
Yeah, I know it's that Hale Stadium is coming off the Cumberland River, and you know that temperature drop, and it's always windy in this stadium for some reason.
Wind's been blowing from left to right, still the same, and it's a lot windy. Look at that. That ball's just not going anywhere, and it looked like it was going to go out of bounds. And instead, I believe McCauley caught it inbound. So they will start with it at looks like the 25 because he called a fair catch.
Those are the small things that just really drive you nuts. You lose 10 yards on that decision by a veteran on the Tigers' offense, Sean McCauley. He has to let that ball go, but he also had to have some help from some of his back men, letting him know where he is on the field. Probably didn't know he was that close to the sideline.
So it is Isaiah Green to start this second half. He was 4 of 7 for 62 yards in that first half. And Bryant, he was 0 for 2, but did have a couple of big rushes. And, of course, that 19-yard touchdown scramble. As we get a conversation, referees talking everything over about where the spot of the ball is. But I will say, weather's been great. We thought maybe we could get some rolling thunderstorms in here today, and we have not. Who do they start with? Number 3 on the ground, up the gut for about 3 yards.
Yeah, they're starting right back up with RPO action inside zone to Starling. you really want to see Green carry out that play action there if that's an RPO play, because if he stands there, the secondary knows that doesn't have the ball and kind of just loses the effect of the fake.
Isaiah Green, first year at Tennessee State, as he throws over to Fat Cat, as you called him, Deron Johnson, and Johnson gets enough for the first down.
Yeah, once again, that RPO action, just a quick hitter, like extension of the run game. Two positive plays for the offense coming out of the locker room, and that's a Tiger first down.
Deron Johnson leads the OVC in all-purpose yards per game with 121. Of course, he's the punt returner. He's the kick returner. He's a really good wide receiver for TSU. It's the handoff to Starling. Tries to break a tackle. He does, and he dances for about 2 yards. But even those 2 yards are impressive.
It's just hard to bring him down with the first tackler. Rarely brings him down. He's so athletic, and man, he makes bad plays into good plays with that athleticism.
Isaiah Green, who started all 13 games last season at quarterback for Marshall. It's the handoff to Starling, and a good job and a good push by the Skyhawks up front. That'll bring up third down. Isaiah Green last year completed 189 of his 336 passing attempts, 2,438 yards, 15 touchdowns. He did throw 11 interceptions. He also rushed for 300 yards and 5 TDs. Rod Reed was excited about him, and he's still learning this offense for TSU. They weren't sure if he was even going to be eligible this year.
Yeah, he hasn't had a lot of time here in Nashville, and to be controlling the offense with that little amount of time he had to prepare is really amazing.
3rd and 6 completed to Watkins, and Watkins waddles his way for a first down. Watkins, who is really close by. He is from real close.
I think I'm looking at his high school up here. He's around the corner at Pearl Cone High School.
I'm not tall enough to see it up here, so I'd have to get on your shoulders. But Pearl Cone High School, of course, where he caught 56 passes, 862 yards, 12 touchdowns for the Firebirds. As this one is fake to McCauley, and this one's over to Weich, who has been their go-to receiver all season long. And Weich is first in the OVC in receiving yards per game with 77.
You're talking about a kid who hadn't played for a long time before this season.
Yeah.
I mean, he was out for at least a couple of years, Alex. I mean, Tigers have a lot of folks that hadn't played a lot of football lately, and you can start to see them get a little traction with themselves on the football field.
This is 1st and 10 at the 35. This is the handoff to McCauley, and McCauley gets about a yard at most. But Cam Weich, you said, hadn't played in a while. Transfer from Lindsey Wilson in Columbia, Kentucky. Had to sit out all of last season. But at Lindsey Wilson, 39 catches, 625 yards in 2018 in his sophomore year. And he had 7 touchdowns. And he caught the first Tiger touchdown of the season against Austin Peay on a 6-yard strike from Bryant. 2nd and 11 here for Green as the Skyhawks bring pressure, thrown away, and you have a penalty marker.
Yeah, that was thrown by the umpire that's in the box, and you rarely see him throw a penalty that late. Kind of makes you feel like it's something on the Skyhawks.
So it's a personal foul, hands to the face penalty. That's 15 yards and a big one. Just when it looked like the Skyhawks were going to force TSU to have a 3rd and long, you get a hands to the face call on Keontae Davis, the nose tackle.
Yeah, I saw that flag come out a little bit late. Usually he's in there. The umpire's throwing a flag for some type of procedure or holding, but that flag coming that late, I kind of figured was some extracurricular activity going on in the line of scrimmage.
We've seen a lot of penalties for the Skyhawks today.
Yeah, they've really played out of character today. That's not usually something you see from a Coach Simpson coach team.
As Rouse goes up the middle, again, They've been using 4 running backs all day. It hasn't just been Starling, as a Skyhawk is down. And that is Jaquez Akins, their star, nickelback and safety. 2020 preseason All-OVC after first team All-OVC last year.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose him. Hopefully he's got a little cramp.
So they're going to tend to Akins. We're going to step aside here about 3 and change into the second half. Tennessee State's driving. We hope that Akins is okay.
Talk to your employer or visit coveryourmouth.com today to learn more.
We are back here. So Akins got helped off the field as Tennessee State 2nd and 3 at the Skyhawks 14-yard line. They're looking to tack on some more here in the opening drive of the second half. Alex Gould, Derek Fleming, appreciate you joining us here on Sunday afternoon in Nashville. 2nd and 3, Green, option to pitch it, finds Rouse. Rouse dances for right around the first down marker, but it looks like he's going to be about a yard short, so it'll be 3rd and 1.
Yeah, you've seen a little bit from Coach Shannon Harris. Old option play there, late pitch. Thought he had more yardage there. The true freshman could have put his foot in the ground and gotten that tough 2 yards to get the first down. Nevertheless, it's short. It's 3rd down.
So 3rd, and they're going to call it 2 here. Handoff to Rouse is blown up. And a little bit of a flex that time for Corbin Harmon, the defensive end. He's a Phil Steele preseason All-OVC for a reason.
Yeah, hadn't heard his name all day. He finally makes his presence felt with a super play, knifing in and stopping the Tigers. Once again in the red zone, they hold him to 3. And let's see if Zeta can get this field goal, and he struggled with kicks in close.
So we had a field goal blocked, a 51-yard make, and a PAT miss. This kick is on the way, and it is good. So that field goal that time, a 32-yarder for Zeta, and that makes it a 3-score game.
Yep, if you're a Tiger fan, you like the drive, you hold the ball for about 5 minutes and 30 seconds, you get points on the board, you're making a 3-possession game, and now the Skyhawks are really, really in uncomfortable territory. But once again, their quarterback, John Backus III, was here 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago in 2018, one of his first starts, and in the second half, he put on a show. So the Skyhawks are not out of this game.
All right, so good start for Tennessee State. Skyhawks do hold them to a field goal. If you're UT Martin, you said that you'd like to see them establish more of the run game, right? But down 3 scores here, still plenty of time. What do you want to see from Backus? What do you want to see from the offensive line?
Yeah, well, I don't want it all of it thrown on John Backus III to try to win this game on his own, right? He needs his weapons. He needs the time. He hadn't had a lot of time. He hasn't been able to run the football and get the ball to his weapons as well. So that's why I said they got to control the line of scrimmage. Give JB3 some opportunity there to do what he does, which is throw a well-thrown football and get this game back into manageable.
And do you want to see more RPO? You want to see him roll out right, left?
I haven't seen a lot of RPO from UT Martin. I don't know. They just hadn't run the football well this season. So maybe some more play action. They had an outstanding drive on their scoring drive. Let's see what they put together in the locker room.
And they will try and establish the run game. And that goes for about a yard that time for Logan. This is a guy in Logan who had a really good game against Austin Peay last week. 17 rushing attempts, 82 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, you saw the Tigers' game plan was to not let them run the football, and they didn't let them run it in the first half.
Logan coming into today had rushed for just under 250 yards, 248, a touchdown, 4.7 yards per carry. Backus throws this one to Rod Reed. We can make fun of him for that. He didn't make the completion.
Well, that's a smart play by John Backus. This goes down as an incompletion. But if he throws that on time, that is pick 6 because Fundress Hollis has sat down on that route, and that was a no-go from the beginning. Smart play by JB3, but it's 3rd and long now for the Skyhawks.
Third and 9 here for Backus and company. They are 1 for 5 on 3rd downs today. Backus has pressure, and this one's intercepted. Last one wasn't, made the smart decision. That time it is picked off yet again. That is the 3rd interception thrown today for Backus. This Tigers defense, this time it's Terry Straughter with his first interception of the season.
Hey, Alex, look what I found. I mean, Terry Straughter just turns around the ball, hits him dead in the numbers. JB3 was predetermined to throw that seam route, and the Tigers played some cover 2 zone underneath, and he buzzed underneath that play. That throw never had a chance. Major mistake by the Skyhawk offense, and the Tigers got the ball back, and now they're cooking with some grease. This could get into the danger zone for the Skyhawks.
Terry Straughter started all 11 games last year. Finished 2nd on the team in tackles with 67. He's 2 behind Ronnie Killings. And he did have 1 career interception, so that's his 2nd career as Green wants to go home run ball. And instead of throwing it away, he gets crunched, blitzed, and he goes down.
Yeah, that's a big no-no for Isaiah Green. What was he thinking? I mean, he had a guy wide open right away. Cam Weiss opened up real quick. Was it open? All he has to throw is throw it, and he holds it and takes at least 10-yard sack. Can't do that, especially in plus territory.
That was Corbin Harmon. Again, he blew up that play nicely, and Jermaine Cooley got into the mix for the Skyhawks. As McCauley fumbles the football that time. So a little bit of a mess to start this drive for TSU.
Yeah, this is when the Tigers, not being used to being ahead, struggling with execution. You're up by 19 points, and you do 2 plays back-to-back like that. No, good teams just can't do that, and that gets you in trouble.
And you got to give credit, too, where credit's due. Skyhawks putting a lot of pressure.
Yes, they are. They are bending but not breaking and causing the Tigers to be in a 3rd and forever situation. Let's see what the Tigers can draw up here.
You think they throw here on 3rd and 23, something short, or hand it off to McCauley?
I think it's a screen somewhere.
As Green drops back, he's looking deep. He may run it. He's going to run. And didn't have anyone open down the field. And he got back to the original line of scrimmage, so he picked up 13 yards. And now you'll likely see number 2 to kick another long field.
Yeah, this is another 50-plus yarder. These are the ones that he have made look very easy. It's been the close ones he struggled with. If it's over 50, he's been pretty doggone good, Alex.
So Zeta connected from 51, this from 52. It seems like he is better, like you said, when it's farther out. Heath Williams is going to hold it. This kick is up, and it is no good. It was wide left. So Zeta misses from 52, and that keeps the score at 26-7. Take a look at this kick again before we head to the break. Zeta tries, 52. Again, it's windy here. Sometimes it's a game of inches and feet.
ESPN. And don't miss the NFL Draft. Begins April 29th on ESPN and
back here in Nashville after Zeta misses from 52. So 26-7 in favor of TSU. We asked the UT Martin trivia question. Now, time for you TSU fans, and anybody can answer this on Twitter. Devon Starling is averaging the most yards per game on the ground in the OVC with 95 per contest. What former TSU RB averaged the most yards per game in school history, and what year did he accomplish it? Again, tweet at us at OVC Sports, at AlexGould714. Use the hashtag OVC Trivia. Of course, the Timeout Trivia is presented by Graduate Nashville Hotel. When you're in Nashville for a big game, Graduate Nashville is the smartest place to stay. As Backus, this one might have been a backwards pass, and instead they're going to blow it dead and say that it was incomplete. That really could have been disastrous if it was.
Yeah, you're seeing what's happening now with the Skyhawks offense. They can't control the line of scrimmage, so now they're trying to make quick hitters. And that time, there was a heat-seeking missile by the name of Ken Andrews that was really had his scope on Logan, and luckily that's not a turnover again.
So Backus, who it's been a tough day for him. He's thrown 3 interceptions. Give credit to the TSU defense. This one was completed nicely. So it'll be 3rd and 3.
Yeah, you see how everything has to come quick out of JB3's hand because they just can't block up the Tigers' defensive line. So another quick hitter, quick play, making it 3rd and manageable for the Skyhawks.
Skyhawks last year, they were really good. 5-6-2 in the conference. But some of their struggles were on the road. They were 2-5 on the road last year and 0-7 back in 2018. And listen, it is never easy to play on the road in the OVC, especially when you're playing a bitter rival. As this one is completed, it will be enough for the first down. A nice connection between Backus and his man, Donnell Williams.
Yep, smart play, quick 3-step drop, get it out of your hand quick slant, first down, Skyhawks.
But UT Martin, since 2006, they have had 7 8-win seasons. Backus completes this one that time to Colton Dowell. And that's really the first time we've mentioned Dowell's name because he's had Nick Harper Jr. on him all day long.
Yeah, but you see now, the Seahawks are starting to get some momentum with the 3-step drop. Yep, and I said Seahawks. Of course, we're saying Skyhawks. Sorry about that, fans. But you're seeing them now get quick with their momentum to try to get the ball out of their hands quick. And they're getting some success first down.
A little bit of an option play that time, and there's space to run. That's a first down nicely for Zach Wallace, the redshirt freshman of Benton, Arkansas. Let's take a look at this play again. It's one of the first times we've seen a little bit of an option play.
Yeah, a little option play. Got the Tigers getting pressure up the field and using their aggression against them and throwing it outside quick, attacking the edge.
And you got to like that call, right? A little bit of a trickery.
Oh, yeah. You got to change it up a little bit, get the momentum back from the Tigers. The Tigers will let them stay in the game by not scoring. And the Skyhawks are now moving down the field.
Skyhawks brought a man in motion. They'll throw to that man in motion, and Marquell Odom, he tiptoed down the sideline, but they'll mark him out of bounds. Gain of 2.
Once again, that pressure right up the middle, pushing Backus to his right. He was able to get somebody in the flat and get positive yards. You got a Tiger down.
We are going to step aside here. Another TSU player is down. Skyhawks are driving here. They're trying to answer this tough, tenacious Tiger defense when we come back.
Evansville, and you will see E is for everyone.
Back here in Nashville. Going to take a look at some scores around the Ohio Valley Conference. So you see there, oh, look at that. A little bit of an upset alert. Holton Zion Webb, just 7 points after the first half are the Govs. And then how about that one, too? Murray State and East Illinois tied at 27 with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And, of course, SEMO up on Tennessee Tech, 21-14. this is the only game that's a little bit lopsided so far in the OVC.
Well, the OVC, from week to week, everybody has a shot. And as you're seeing, the Eastern Illinois bunch who were in the last place up there in Murray having a little trouble, giving some trouble to the first place racers who were 4-0. So you got to come bring it every week. It's like I said, it's a playoff time if you're trying to continue to play in the postseason. I'm
amazed that Austin Peay has held Zion Webb to just 7 points after the first half in Jacksonville. As Backus drops back, he's going to try and find a man, and that would have been a really nice catch that time by Colton Dowell, but he was unable to make the play.
Oh, yeah. Shot play, second and long off a timeout or an injury, and they come out and take a shot for the end zone. The best way to score a touchdown is to throw it in the end zone. That one just went. That didn't connect.
Sometimes the obvious statements have to be made, right?
Oh, yeah. Just if you want to score a touchdown, throw it in the end zone.
All right, 3rd and 8. Just under 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. See if Backus has an answer for this pressure. Offensive line tried to pick it up, but he got taken down. And who else but number 55 in the mix for Tennessee State and Davion Hawkins. And he's shaking that finger.
Yeah, he's definitely the leader on the defensive line, but that's also some pressure for the young true freshman, Emmanuel Baez, that was there also. And as you see, the youth movement, the Tigers defensive line have been in the backfield all game.
And that's my fault. I should give the credit to Baez totally on that tackle. Absolutely. And he recorded some stats for the first time last week as it's 4th and 8. Skyhawks going to go for it here. Down 19, kind of have to. Backus rolls to his left. He's got a man wide open, and it was dropped. Oh, my goodness. That was Marquell Odom. He saw 6, Derek Fleming, took his eye off the ball, and it's a turnover on downs.
It happens every day. It happens every day. You feel sorry for the young man, but, hey, you're so wide open, you forget to do the most important thing, which is catch it. And that's a bad break for the Skyhawks because they had 6 right there, and that changes the complexion of the game. The Tigers had dropped coverage, and that was their opportunity there to cut the lead in half. But now the Tiger offense is back, and Bryant is back on the field.
And listen, Marquell Odom, he's reliable.
Yep.
And Jason Simpson knows that. That's why they run that play to go to him. And, yeah, sometimes you take your eye off the ball, right? You think 6 before getting 6. And so that is a big play in this game as Davion Bryant's back out there. And nice coverage that time for UT Martin. That was Takeem Young, the safety, on the coverage.
That's a really good play for a safety to make that in the flat like that with an explosive talent like Fat Cat Johnson. So held him to no gain on that play, 2nd and long.
Bryant tried to find Zaire Thornton. That was also good coverage by UT Martin. That time by the corner and Jay Woods, the graduate transfer from Pinson, Alabama.
Well, the UT Martin defense is really starting to tighten it up. They are 1 point over their average of 25, and they're not trying to give up any more.
And they can't really afford to this late in the game, right? Jay Woods, who leads the OVC in pass breakups with 6 coming in today. You can mark that as another one. He's a grad transfer from South Alabama. Made his collegiate debut against Louisiana Tech at South Alabama. And what did he do? He had an interception in his collegiate debut. They run a screen pass that time to Starling. That thing got blown up, and it's going to be a quick 3 and out for Tennessee State.
Yeah, the Skyhawks have said they had enough is enough, and now that defense is playing how they usually plays. They had tremendous coverage on all 3 passes for the Tigers, and that's a 3 and out. And the Skyhawks are in business on defense. Let's see if they can just put some points on the board.
And this one is blocked. This could be the spark that UT Martin needs, but that thing actually took a pretty friendly bounce for TSU.
All the Tiger fans on the sideline are looking like, well, what is Mosley doing? He act like nobody was on the field but him. It took him like 5 seconds to kick it, and he is lucky that ball wasn't cleanly blocked.
It did look like the snap, actually. Did you see that replay? It looked like the snap did take him over to his left, and he kind of looked up to see if anybody was coming.
Yeah, but you got to get rid of that kick, especially if it takes you off your target area. You got to get rid of it much quicker than that.
This is going to be a handoff to Logan that time. I'm more amazed, too, about how the ball still trickled into Skyhawk territory.
Yeah, that's a lucky break for the Tigers because that could have been disaster.
So, yeah, that snap looked like it took him a little bit to the left there, Fleming.
Yep, but you usually take 3 steps. He took about 7.
So you're going to cut that in half.
Yeah, please, if you want to get rid of it.
This one's completed to Williams.
No, it's actually incomplete.
And instead, it's not completed to Williams. It would have been Williams' 6th catch of the afternoon. He's been the go-to target for Backus today.
That's the help I was talking about, Alex, coming out of halftime, is that the playmakers got to help Backus. And he's had 2 drops on 2 consecutive drives that could have changed the complexion, of those drives. So now it's 3rd and long again. And they hadn't had a lot of 6 on 3rd down in the first half. A little bit better in the second half. So let's see what they can do here.
It's amazing what Nick Harper Jr., the redshirt senior at a local Brentwood, has done today on Colton Dowell. He's really shut him down. Dowell only has 2 catches. As Backus goes to the man of the backfield, and it will not be enough for the first down after the catch from Logan. And so this, you'd think, is 4-down territory, especially with the way the score is.
They're staying out there. This is really rolling the dice.
Well, you're down 19, correct? And
yep.
it's about to be the 4th quarter.
Yep.
You figure, not in the head of Jason Simpson, but he figures it's now or never. So 4th and 3. Back is going to go short to Williams, and it is right at the marker. It looked like he did get enough for the first down.
Well, the Tigers handed that 4th down to them. They went soft zone, which was surprising. I guess they're going to make them drive the whole field, which makes sense, but easy pitch and catch for that first down.
So I mentioned 2 plays ago that Williams almost had a 6th catch. There it is. Leads the Skyhawks today. Nobody else with more than 3.
Yeah, this is shot play time, Alex. Look for something deep here to end the half.
Got to think that at some point, Rodney Williams or Colton Dowell going to try and go to those 2 guys, right? Backus rolls to his right, and he's got space, and he has enough for the first down after a big hit. That time from Detoye Adewale.
Yeah, James Green was hunting as well. And that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
End of the 3rd quarter. Tennessee State up big. UT Martin trying to get back in this game and find some sort of momentum as we head to the 4th here in Nashville. Tigers up 19.
Thursday on ESPN.
Jason Simpson, in his 15th season at the helm of UT Martin. 6th most career victories in OVC history with 89. Of course, he's the longest tenured head coach. Rod Reed in his 11th season at the helm, and he's got to be liking what he's seeing from his Tigers.
Well, if you're the Tigers fan, you was in the 4th quarter with a chance to win the Jacksonville State game, and they gave up 17 points in that game. So, you got to play all 4 quarters. And that 3rd quarter was a little bit slow, but they maintained their cushion and actually added by 3. So let's see what the Tigers have here on defense to do to take this victory.
Of course, the coaches' profiles are presented by Legends Bank. Legendary service, extraordinary people, Legends Bank. 1st and 10, Backus going to throw to Logan out of the backfield. Logan's got some space on the left side, and he gets 13 yards and a UT Martin first down. It's exactly what Coach Simpson wants to see to start the 4th.
Yeah, taking advantage of the aggression of the front 4, inviting them up the field, then throwing a quick screen route. knowing that the Tigers have been pressuring Backus the whole game. Beautiful play call for a first down.
Was that caught by Williams? Diving catch, and it was. A terrific catch that time by number 2 out of Memphis, and Rodney Williams.
Yeah, one of the prettiest 3-yard catches you'll ever see, Alex. I mean, that's a lot of effort for 3 yards. Look at this. Glaze out.
And he got that knee down.
There you go.
And you just see, down 19, all the fight in the world. They know that they're now in the red zone after that catch by Williams, and a terrific effort. Sets up a 2nd and 7, and now they go to the other side of the field, and this one was caught by who else but Donnell Williams for his 7th reception of the afternoon.
And there's the arm strength of John Backus III. We talked about how big his arm. That is an NFL throw there. He throws that from the left side of the field and throws a quick out on a laser beam, on a quick yard out, on the money for a first down.
So 1st and 10, just outside the goal line at the 11. They bring Williams in motion, and this one is thrown behind the back in Logan. That would have been a catch. If he would have caught that range into his left. Woo.
Yeah, that's once again pressure again up the field, not giving JB3 much time, and he had to get on his horse and get out of the backfield, and made an inaccurate throw.
John Backus, 19 of 36, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns in the win against Austin Peay. He was dynamite last week. Trying to throw his 2nd one of the day right here, and good decision to throw it away.
Yeah, that's pressure again. I mean, they got to help out John Backus. They just have no answers for the defensive rush of the Tigers, and it's 3rd down. Coach Rodriguez is down there trying to get that grounding call. It was close. I think he got it back to the line of scrimmage.
So 3rd and 10 at the 11 here for UT Martin. Just over 13 minutes left in this game. Pretty much now or never for the Skyhawks. Fake the handoff, and this one is not intercepted. It was dropped, and you have a flag on the play.
Yeah, they caught the freshman holding, and I don't think he had to do it, but he did. That's going to be 1st and goal for the UT Martin Skyhawks. Oh, they picked it up. The ball was tipped.
So they're saying the ball was tipped. So you said the freshman. Who do you mean by the freshman?
Kid Andrews, number 7, out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was on that play. He grabbed the defender, but obviously there was contact at the line of scrimmage, which negates the pass interference, and now it's 4th down. And like you say, it's now or never for the Skyhawks.
So they pick up the flag, and a timeout is going to be called by Jason Simpson. They want to talk it over, the biggest play of the day for them. 4th and 10 from the 11. When we come back, 13:05 to go here in Nashville. So Jason Simpson electing to kick the field goal to go down 2 scores.
Smart. You know you got to score 3 times. Make one of them. Make sure you get 1 score here. Keep yourself in the game.
Tyler Larco, 6 of 7 on the season. And he's 2 of 2 from inside 30. This one's on the way. It is going to be good, but there is a penalty marker. And now you got a little bit of a scrum.
Yeah, that was a false start by that up man for the UT Martin Skyhawks, and you can't have that on that kick. I mean, you don't have to move. The Tigers are not trying to really bring a lot of pressure there. Just stay still, block your man, and let your guy kick the 3.
So instead of a 28-yard field goal, now a 33-yard field goal. So Larco on the year from 30, and in that 30 to 39 gap is 2 for 3 on the season. It's his only miss. As this one is snapped, it's held, and it is good. So Larco connects from 33. Skyhawks get their first points on the board since the second drive of the game, and they're back to within 2 possessions.
Yep, you just have to figure out you got to score 3 times. One of them has to be a field goal or could be a field goal. Make the field goal, stay in the ballgame.
26-10 Tennessee State when we come back. Back here in Nashville. We asked you guys this question earlier. Devon Starling is averaging the most yards per game on the ground in the OVC with 95 per contest. What former TSU running back averaged the most yards per game in school history, and what year did he accomplish it? A familiar face from Tennessee State answered the question on Twitter. Bryson Rosser, of course, who was the quarterback with Charles Anthony.
Yeah, I think he handed the ball off to old Charles Anthony a few times. Old Coach Rosser out there in East Tennessee having some great success in the high school level. Good to see him watching the Tiger. He's a true Tiger.
Of course, he is the coach at Belmont Hill, and he's loved here at Tennessee State. So we appreciate you, Coach Rosser, for answering on Twitter, and he got it correctly, and he should know that answer. I think Charles Anthony would have said, hey, you got to know that one.
And what I know you make the trivia questions, Alex, and you probably didn't see some of these guys play. I actually saw Charles Anthony play, and him and Starling have very similar running styles. They are very slick. They're hard to bring down with the first contact, and that's a real good question you came up with because they're very similar backs.
And you get a kick out of bounds here, so that's going to put the ball at the 35-yard line for TSU. You know what I put right here? I put reminds Coach Reed of Charles Anthony.
Yep.
On the notes. Coach Reed told me that on the phone earlier this week. He said, Charles Anthony, Devon Starling, very similar players. And so let's talk about Charles Anthony real quick with that trivia question. So he averaged 158 yards per game in 2004. 158 yards per game in 2004. Video game. That is Madden-like numbers, NCAA football-like numbers. Third most rushing yards in OVC history. Second most rushing yards in OVC history with over 5,000. 5,057, just behind Marcus Thomas of EKU. And was named the OVC Male Athlete of the Year in 2004.
Yeah, he was quite a back for the TSU Tigers. Remember him vividly. And then a lot of that yardage was after contact. You just couldn't bring him down. He wasn't a very big guy. Very strong lower body and just had outstanding balance. And Starling is very similar.
Rod Reed told me, too, that they would not allow the defense to hit Anthony in practice.
Yeah, because he was going to be the workhorse on Saturday. There was no need for wear and tear. You knew what he was going to bring to the table. So there was no need to rough him up in practice.
And how about that tackle from Jaquez Akins? He is back in the game. Remember, he got taken off the field, and he's back with vengeance.
Yeah.
As it's now 3rd and 11 here for TSU. Skyhawks would love to get the football back here after that field goal, down 16. But also Charles Anthony, coming back to this last point, he said, no, coaches, come on, defense needs to practice. I want the guys to hit me. I want it to feel like a game, and coaching staff, no. We can't afford to lose you. He was that valuable. 3rd and 11 here for Bryant. He's got all day. Bryant's going to roll to his right. Doesn't have anyone. He's going to tuck it and run and takes a big vicious hit. And that will bring up 4th down. So this Skyhawks defense, they allowed 26 pretty early in that second quarter. And they average allowing 25, 26 points per game. They've done a nice job here in the second half.
Yeah, I talked about it. I said if you're a Skyhawk fan, you know that your defense is going to bow up in the second half, and that's exactly what they've done. And so now they've made the Tigers one-dimensional, not letting them run the football. And now this game is not over. 2-possession game, 11 minutes on the clock. The Skyhawks are in business.
Another bad snap on the punt, and Mosley somehow gets it away, and it takes a really friendly Tiger bounce. That's going to be downed at the 17-yard line. Amazing that Mosley was able to even get that off and then boot it that far. That's 50-plus. As we will step aside here. UT Martin down 2 possessions, trying to make it 1 when we come back.
On
Big-time stop for UT Martin. They're down 16. I know it's a lot, but doable here with 10 and change to go.
Yeah, if you know anything about this rivalry, this game is always, a bond burner. So just because it looks bad for the Skyhawks now, 1 touchdown here and the 2-point conversion.
Right.
And now the Tiger fans are sweating bullets, so this is an important possession. This is always a close game. I'm still expecting it to be a close game.
About 10% capacity here, taking on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Got it to a little bit chilly. Now the sun's back out. Hardly a cloud in the sky. And by the way, UT Martin traveled really well today. They got a lot of fans over there. They would love to see Backus and company strike here and make it a ball game. As it will be a handoff to Logan. He stays on his feet. He was not taken down. And number 23 in blue, orange, and white with a big burst out of the break.
Yeah, that's something you can't have as a big run with a missed tackle. You've been given all the accolades early to Josh Green. He misses a tackle there, actually pulls the running back's shoe off and let him go for a big-time gain.
I'd have been really concerned if he pulled his foot off.
Yeah. Definitely his shoe was off.
As Wallace gets the carry there, he slipped. So that's a loss of 2 for UT Martin. Talked about Peyton Logan, though. I mean, this guy has been really good for them. Really good this season.
Yeah, now that they're getting the run game going, which we talked about, I expect something tricky here shortly as they get close to midfield to try to get a shot play and get that score quick and put the pressure back on the Tigers.
So Logan, who was an all-OVC second-team member in 2019, he had 109 carries, 784 yards. As Backus design screen this time and some room to run, about 5 yards. UT Martin wants a late hit there after the completion to Odom.
Yeah, that was close to targeting on Josh Green, but I think he turned his shoulder and made contact with his shoulder, but it was very close. He really didn't need to do that. He got to really play a little bit smarter these last couple of plays to make sure that he doesn't cause a self-inflicted wound by a late penalty.
You can still hear UT Martin over there. Really thought that was a late hit. Maybe a targeting. 3rd and 6 from midfield. Backus drops back, and he tried to find Williams, who's been his go-to target all day. But instead it brings up a big, big 4th down.
That's an extremely long throw that Backus is attempting, and he has mustard on it. He really has a big-time arm, and that one was just inaccurate. But once again, standing towards the left side of the field, throws a bullet to the right side of the field, and you have to have some arm strength to make that throw.
And this will be the 2nd timeout of the half taken by Jason Simpson, the biggest play of the day when we come back.
Do our part to protect each other
and get back in the game. We miss going to the games we love
and celebrating.
Caught by Williams. Oh my goodness. What a big time catch from the redshirt senior out of St. Louis.
I just talked about how hard that throw is. He did it again. I mean, wow. That is an amazing throw. That is a big-time throw with a guy with a very strong arm. Jump back to 3rd and 1st down for the UT Martin's Skyhawks.
It's just over 8 to play. That keeps this drive alive. As Backus wants to go deep. He's thinking 6. He's got a man. It is caught at the 5-yard line over there on the far side. And we were talking about it. I mentioned it earlier. Haven't talked a lot about Colton Dowell today. He's been their go-to man all season, and he makes a big-time play.
Yeah, that's a great pitch and catch right there. You knew the big play was going to happen. They was going to have to take a shot, and they did.
So, 42-yard completion. Now 1st and goal from the 5. Backus, he's going to try and keep it. Now he's going to throw it. And they will say, are they going to mark him down, or will they say it's incomplete? They are going to call an incompletion. Amazing, he got that away.
Very dangerous throw. You got to just get rid of that ball and make sure nobody can catch it. He had enough arm strength to do that, so he lives to see another day. 2nd down and goal.
It looks like they're switching footballs here. So that's the delay.
Should that be a hint that they may be trying to throw it?
2nd and goal at the 4. T. Martin trying to get to within 1 possession. Backus rolling out to his right. He has nobody. He throws it away.
Once again, that pressure is really giving John Backus no time to survey the field and find open Skyhawks. So he's having to be athletic and move his feet and try to extend the play. Smart plays is to throw away, live to see another day. 3rd down.
Third and 4. This drive was extended on a 4th and 6 connection between Backus and Donnell Williams, and then the great catch by Dowell a couple of plays ago. They will hand it off to Logan, up the middle, into the end zone. And UT Martin has some life. That is the 2nd rushing touchdown of the year for the senior out of Horn Lake, Mississippi.
Beautiful play call. Hit him with a trap play right up the middle. And Logan did the rest. Now here comes a very important play call for Coach Simpson and the Skyhawks.
Well, everyone knew that UT Martin needed 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. They got the first touchdown. They need the first 2-point conversion to make it a 1-possession game. Backus has it, and he has the slant, and he has his man in Colton Dowell, who set up the big play. And you said it earlier. You said if UT Martin can get the touchdown, and if they can get that 2-point conversion, all of a sudden, you're going to see a lot of nervous energy on this TSU sideline.
Yep, that's what I thought would happen. If you put the Tigers, or actually the Skyhawks have put the Tigers on notice that this game is not over with. And that was just one-on-one. And that was just one-on-one coverage on a simple slant route with the Tigers' best corner man, Harper, getting beat inside. He's a senior. He knows he can allow that type of release. Nevertheless, it is a 8-point game, and we have us a ball game, Alex.
I know it's been a tough afternoon for Jason Simpson's club. You have to think, if they come back and win this game, even tie the game, you have to think he's going to be so proud of the effort of his offensive line, the effort of his offense on that drive.
Well, Coach Simpson's not an effort guy. He's a win guy, okay?
Right.
All right, so he feels good about it. He knows his team and what kind of effort they should bring. He was a little disappointed in the first half, but now you've seen the Skyhawks come back with a vengeance, and this is going to be very interesting how Coach Rod Reed tries to handle this last 7 minutes and 23 seconds. Does he try to score points, or does he continue to do what he's done the last 3 drives, which has been very conservative and been 3 and out and giving the Skyhawks a chance to get back in the ballgame?
I'm just amazed at that drive. The 4th and 6, the bullet throw from Backus, who ranged to his left, threw to his right, connected with Williams. Then the 40-plus yard pass over to Dowell. Then, of course, the touchdown on 3rd and 5. A little bit of surprise, right? Surprise TSU on the run with Logan. And then a terrific slant strike to Colton Dowell. And that's where we sit, 26-18. As this one will be fair caught, so TSU will start at the 25-yard line.
Well, Coach Simpson has basically taken Fat Cat Johnson out of the return game with those little pop-up kicks. If you're the Tigers, you got to allow Johnson to move up a little bit because he's your weapon, right? Every time he gets a chance, you're trying to get the ball in his hands, and that's just been smart coaching by the UT Martin staff and Coach Simpson.
Really quickly, we'll get this in there, right? I know you're watching this game. We appreciate you joining Derek Fleming and myself. Murray State's up 33-27, 8 minutes to go. In Murray, SEMO is up 24-14 on Tennessee Tech, and Austin Peay still clinging to a 3-point lead. They lead 13-10, 10 minutes left against JSU. As this one is handed to Starling, he pushes the pile and will get 6 yards.
Going back to the bread and butter, your workhorse, Starling, with an inside zone run. Once again, you want to see Green complete that fake. He's just handling and standing there. If you're an RPO team, you want that quarterback to ride that fake and keep that backside guy honest. If not, he gets into the play and makes it a short play.
The standings could really open up if JSU loses to Austin Peay. If he's still in one, can come back and win that game. And this play is blown up again, and somehow Starling got back to the line of scrimmage. But now all of a sudden, it's a 3rd and 4.
Hey, Alex, what did I say earlier in this drive? It was going to be interesting to see what Coach Rod decide to do. Be conservative like the last 3 drives or go after it. And he's made the decision to be conservative. This is very dangerous now because it's 3rd and long. The Skyhawks are all over the field now, balling up the Tigers' run game. This is sometime when mistakes are made. Let's see what the Tigers do here.
That is Sabree Curtis, who scored the first touchdown of the afternoon to the right of Green. It is 3rd and 7. Green drops back, has some pressure. He's going to go deep, finding Thornton. It's incomplete. And just like that, UT Martin will get the ball back with a chance to tie the game.
Yeah, that's not a good drive by the Tigers. That made no sense to do that type of play or not try to get the clock run down or something on 3rd down, just to heave it down the field. It's giving all the momentum to the Skyhawks, and with 5 minutes and 49 seconds, they're going to have great field position, and we are going to have a tight finish, Alex, like it always is between these two teams.
Carson Buchanan, he has struggled a little bit snapping on these punts today. This one is perfect. Mosley takes his time, and he boots this one away. It will be fair caught at the 37-yard line. So JB3, John Backus III, the redshirt sophomore out of Pulaski, Tennessee, has a chance here and plenty of time to try and march down the field, score a touchdown, and again, then it all hinges on a 2-point conversion.
Man, did you see that arm strength in the last drive, Alex? I mean, he really showed the cannon, especially on that 4th and 6th throw. That was a beautiful NFL-type throw. And so now he's in rhythm. And we're going to see now what Coach Simpson has lined up for JB3.
Backus 21 of 40, 236 yards and a touchdown today. Has thrown 3 interceptions. He's looking to throw, now looking to run. He is taken down by who else than Hawkins.
Truly amazing how much leverage Hawkins plays with. I mean, he gets underneath his defender, a lot. He really plays low, has explosion, quick, and just stays in the other opposing team's backfield. Another sack for Hawkins.
So 2nd and 12. Not the way UT Martin wanted to start this drive. Hawkins is, and it looked like there was some movement, and this is really a bad start for the Skyhawks. It'll be 2nd and 17.
talking back with Hawkins, he came into today's game with 3 sacks and 7 tackles for losses. I know he's been in the backfield the whole game. You think he had a couple of sacks in this game, Alex? I know he has one. We just saw that one.
Yeah, he's first in the OVC in forced fumbles per game. He's 4th in the OVC in sacks with 3 coming into today. Make it now a couple of more. And also 4th in the OVC in tackles for loss with 7. And he's the transfer from Kentucky. He said it earlier, where he played in 9 games. 2nd and 17 here for Backus. And he is going to find Donnell Williams. He does. What arm strength to make that throw, and then for Williams with a man on his back to hang on.
Hey, those guys have a lot of chemistry together, and you can just see the arm strength in the second half for John Backus just throwing BBs out and making it 3rd and manageable. And the Skyhawks are getting ready to.
I once hit 89 miles an hour against UT Martin on the gun. I feel like Backus is throwing about 95 plus.
Yeah, he's throwing that football, man. What a talent.
3rd and 2, has a man go short right at the first down marker, and they are going to give him a first down. That was completed to the other Williams, no relation, to Rodney Williams. So John Backus, Phil Steele, preseason All-OVC. OVC Freshman of the Year last year by Hero Sports. He was a freshman All-American. Threw for, as we mentioned earlier, over 2,500 yards. And this time he's going to go short. Zach Wallace out of the backfield. Wallace has the left side. Wallace trying to tiptoe the sideline. And Zach Wallace on the check down is 3 yards outside of the red zone.
Yeah, that was drop coverage by the secondary of the Tigers. That was just a backfield, a running back out the backfield, just on a out route, and nobody saw him. And that was just an easy throw and a big-time gain on first down. And now the Skyhawks are in business.
That is the first timeout of the second half taken by Rod Reed. So they will have 2 left. And we'll stop the clock at 3:19. Zach Wallace, he only played in 4 games last year, redshirted. He had 10 carries for 28 yards. And as you see, he had 4 rushes for 10 yards last game, only 1 reception for 3. But that play, the biggest one for him in the last couple of weeks. But let's brag more about John Backus, shall we? Last year against TSU, had a really good game. 16 for 25, 216 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then also started against them his true freshman year. 14 to 22 is the first start of his collegiate career, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he has had success against the Tigers in his young career. And in the first half, Tigers obviously had his number. Second half, it's a different man. It's 1st and 10. This one going to be a short completion that time to Odom.
Now the Skyhawks are kind of bleeding the clock a little bit. They know that they are in 4-down territory. They just want to make sure they get the right play and that rush to play so they can try to get a chance to tie this ball game up. Man, wouldn't that be something?
And also, obviously, it seems like they want to score and have that 2-point conversion maybe be the last play of this half. This one is to Logan. It is blown up. Looks like that was Nick Harper Jr. over there on the tackle.
Yeah, that was a subtle change by the Tigers defense. They've gone to cover 2 now, keeping that cornerback in the flat for those leak outs from the running back. And the Skyhawks were used to the Tigers being a man-to-man.
No 2-minute warning in college. 3rd and 9 at the 21. Backus drops back. He thinks he has a man. It is caught for the touchdown. Rodney Williams, with 2 men in his face, gets the 21-yard strike from Backus. And don't look now, but the Skyhawks are a 2-point conversion away from tying this game.
Well, Alex, I tell you, I've been around this series a long time. It's always a close game. And at 16 points or 19 points in the third quarter, I didn't think it was over. And so now the big play of the game has come. What are the Skyhawks going to call here?
UT Martin needed 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. They got the 2 touchdowns. They got 1 of the 2-point conversions. This is the play of the afternoon. With Logan to Backus' right. Now Logan will move to his left. TSU crowd trying to get loud here at Hale Stadium. Backus is looking. He's tiptoeing back. He is not going to complete it. It hit the ground. And the Tigers' defense, after all that momentum that the Skyhawks had, they prevailed, Derek Flem.
Oh, yeah, well, the Tigers fooled them. They looked like they were in man-to-man, and they fell into a cover 2 zone and shelled it up. They wanted to go to the flat, but Nick Harper released this guy and stayed out in the flat, and that's when John Backus was wanting to throw the ball, pressure up the middle, couldn't get enough on that ball. But this game's not over because now we're going to have an onside kick.
What a call by Justin Roberts, the defensive coordinator for TSU.
Yeah, the last 2 times he went to zone coverage where he's been exclusively man all game, and that was the difference in those 2 plays. They were used to having that free release and not having anybody be in the flat when that one receiver would clear it, and Coach Roberts changed his look.
That was James Green on the coverage. Talked about the Green brothers a lot this season. That was number 8, and the redshirt junior out of Orlando, and you said it. With only 1 timeout left for UT Martin, minute and 51 to go. This is pretty much the game here, and it's going to be an onside kick attempt for Tyler Larco, the redshirt freshman out of Miami.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen an onside kicks, Alex. And I don't think they're lined up properly yet. They're still trying to figure.
So we'll see. Maybe they won't onside kick it. Maybe they will. Larco is going to hit it with his left foot, and it looks like it was received nicely by Cam White. One in doubt, go to your best man with the hands, right?
Yeah, if you UT Martin, you don't want to kick the ball to him,
Right.
right? You want to find somebody else. And what a catch! That was a tricky kick, man, by Larco, and obviously he was able to get it. And so, I guess you just can kneel it now, right?
Well, 1 timeout left, right? I am a terrible math student, but I'm trying to do my math here. It is. I think they're still going to have to run a couple of plays conservatively here.
Yeah, but you can kneel it, right? You don't have to be in shotgun, do you? Oh,
and
Lord.
Instead, it's going to be handed off to Rouse, and that just seemed like a really risky play.
You definitely don't want to do that, Alex. I mean, it's
that was wild.
Yeah, that's wow. Now you can kneel it, right?
So again, you take a look, trying to do some math. Might be about 5-10 seconds for TSU to punt it away if the Skyhawks can get a stop. But again, when you're a C math student like me,
well, I don't think you want to run jet sweep anymore.
See what they do here. Green didn't use up all the time. Instead, nice and simple up the middle to Starling.
Oh, I guess what
and
was
that will be the last timeout taken by UT Martin. So that stops the clock at exactly 60 seconds left on 3rd and about 14.
Yeah, Coach Simpson still had a timeout, so they had to run a couple of plays.
That's what I was saying.
But the type of play is what I'm concerned about, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. The jet sweep was maybe to run a little bit more clock, but that could have been a disaster.
Yeah, you get on the center, you can snap it and just run backwards and back up for 4 or 5 yards and accomplish with that play. That was a very dangerous play call for the Tigers.
They are going to put a second back on the clock, so 61 seconds left. so, again, UT Martin, they could get the ball back with about 5-10 seconds left. So it's not over yet, but they need, I won't coin the phrase, but they need a Music City miracle.
Yeah, Mosley's been very slow with his kick release all day, so the punting will be an adventure.
3rd and 16 here. They go up the gut with Starling, and the clock cannot be stopped, so it is just going to keep on moving. And now you look, it's about I feel like we're doing a basketball game. It's about a 15-second differential here. So likely get a timeout here from Rod Reed, right? Run it down.
Yeah, you run it down. I don't know if you bring your punt team out there. You've already had one tipped, and the actual snapping has been a little inconsistent.
You think don't bring your punt unit?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you got to run your safest play, right? If you have had some operational issues in your punt team today, right? You said you didn't like a couple of those snaps. And I've told you I don't like the timing of the punt with the steps.
But what do you do if you don't punt here?
Well,
I mean, this still, look at that. It's the clock is now stopped with 13 seconds left. And I'd say the last thing you want to do is give Tennessee or UT Martin a chance to throw a Hail Mary, right?
True. And they will also have the wind to their back. So some kind of way you got to get the ball down the field 20 to 25 yards to get them out of range for any type of play that'll beat you. You know their kicker can kick it from 50, and it's a strong wind, so probably 55 today. So you got to figure out a way to get this snap off, get this kick off, and the ball game should be over.
So 13 seconds on the clock. Caleb Mosley is out there to punt it. See if he wants to dance around and waste more time, or if he just wants to boot it away. UT Martin brings the house.
Oh.
It was almost blocked. Might have even been partially deflected. And the ball was downed by James Green. And I think some of the TSU sideline is wondering why he touched it right away.
Well, Alex, that operation was very close, and it looked like Mosley wasn't too excited at all again. I mean, he's a laid-back character when it comes to kicking the ball. 4 seconds left.
So 4 seconds left. Backus, he really does seem like he's superhuman. He's got an arm. I don't know if he can quite throw it 80 yards down the field. So you're going to see that, carnival lateral play here.
Yep, you got to be careful with that because you don't want to have a penalty as well. So it's a couple of things. You can't have a penalty if you're the Tigers, and you got to keep everything in front.
So you can see the Tigers have 4 up at the line. UT Martin's got 3 over here on the right side, 1 on the left. And so you're going to see a wild last play here with 5 seconds left. Backus is going to drop back, runs it into his own lineman, and he is going to try a Hail Mary here. Going to throw this one, and this one is batted down, and that is how this game ends. The battle for the York Trophy, the battle in the OVC and for the state of Tennessee, as Tennessee State will win it 26-24. Derek Fleming, UT Martin gave it their all in the second half. They just fell short.
It was the battle of the two halves, right? 23 points by the Tigers in the first half, 17 points by the Skyhawks in the second half. Neither team played a complete game, and the Tigers come out here with a win, and they're excited about that. They still have a chance for the York Trophy.
Backus threw for 306 yards, 2 touchdowns. Donnell Williams, 85 yards, and a touchdown for UT Martin. Taking a look, Isaiah Green threw for 91. Whitechad, 51-7 yards receiving. Devon Starling, he was the star yet again. 134 yards on the ground for the freshman and a touchdown. He was the difference in this game. Well, Derek, it was good again. We got one more broadcast together. Well, on April 11th, when SEMO comes into town, these schools have 2 games left on the season. For Derek Fleming, I'm Alex Gould saying so long from Hale Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, where the final score is Tennessee State 26, UT Martin 24. All games airing on the ESPN network, so streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of